Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm supposed I could take sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one of one.
My son's right.
I don't think I've ever said this before.
All right, we got a few things going on, folks. There's this vaccine that Larry Ellison is talking about that could cure cancer. We got to talk. A lot of people are freaking out over it. There's people that are reacting still to Fauci getting pardoned. Schultz gave a breakdown of what am I going to do with this thing that's in my body now? Am I not going to find out if this was good or bad? And then President Trump is negotiating on behalf of the government to purchase half of TikTok and becoming partners potentially with Ellison and Musk, is saying the fact that, TikTok without a license from us is zero, but with a license, potentially $1 trillion. So maybe the way we got to do it is X, Y, Z. So the way he was negotiating was very interesting, but I have some thoughts on that as well. Aside from that, the gentleman that said he's going to put $500 billion of investment and he raised it, Musk came out and said, I don't think they have that kind of money. There's a report that came out that says, according to New York Post, Fox News aired all 500 of the most watched cable news shows since November 5th election. Let me say this one more time. Top 500 out of 500 shows that got the most views with the most viewership since November 5th, 500 out of 500 is Fox. Not CNN, not MSNBC, not anybody else. That's not that's a shellacking. That's when you lose so bad that's just embarrassing. But we'll talk about that. Trump hiring blitz sets first day hiring record with 1,300. Musk not happy with Altman, when he claimed that he was doing it as a nonprofit and then now he wants $10 billion. There's some thoughts on that. Trump obliterates DEI with scathing order placing thousands on leave. And, we got a few other things here while Vinny is coughing. Sam Altman says Trump's Stargate will allow AGI to be built in the U.S. and create hundreds of thousands of jobs. Mass migrant deportation coming to a city near you, starting with New York City. Soon as Trump's border crackdown gets underway, there was a video from Boston we were talking about with Vinny earlier. We'll show that clip to you. Jamie Dimon defends Trump's tariffs. Let me get this straight. Jamie Dimon from J.P. Morgan Chase defends Trump's tariffs, saying national security trumps a little bit more than inflation. Interesting. Trump announces pardon for Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht vacating life sentence. Mayor Adams sits down with Tucker Carlson. He had some interesting things to say. AOC torn to shreds for jewsplaining. To Anti-Defamation League in dispute over Elon Musk inauguration salute. The rise of young Republicans on American college campus. Netflix hiking prices again after adding record-breaking, 19 million new subscribers in the last quarter. Then this next one here is for a few of you that are listening to this. If you qualify for this, folks, there's a new membership you might want to consider. It's a $300 million members-only luxury doomsday bunker with AI-powered medical suites and indoor pools where the 1% can seek shelter from apocalypse. I mean, if you're going to die, you may as well die with rich people, right? By the way,
but I looked good.
I looked good.
We're going to die.
By the way, the membership is insane. Like, think about if you go to, a country club, 50,000, 100,000, $500,000. Trump's Mar-a-Lago is $1 million. You're going to be surprised by what the membership to this is. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Can conservative media survive Trump's presidency, says Jim Acosta. And we'll cover that. And then, there's a story that came out from Bloomberg. This journalist in D.C., while we're at the Spotify or YouTube event, she was wearing a shirt. I think she was at a couple events that we saw her at, maybe the Turning Point USA, and it said press, and she was wearing this green dress, very nice, very respectful. I didn't know she was writing this article because this article came out, and it talks about the second Trump presidency brought to you by YouTubers, and she breaks down everyone's data, okay? It's a very interesting article. Maybe we'll get time to get into that part. John Bolton had a rough couple days. Vinny's happy. And he wants to kind of say a few other things. Trump and Elon Musk's Doge wants to get rid of pennies. So if you got pennies, You may want to keep them because they're probably going to be what do you call it when you're selling them. By the way, a lot of pennies sell for a lot if they're like in 1929, 1949, the older coins. So they want to get rid of the penny. Trump hits at possible retaliation for Joe Biden with a cryptic message. Trump bans Pride and BLM flags from U.S. buildings across the globe. And BlackRock, Larry Fink says Bitcoin could reach, ready, $700,000 if this happens. We will tell you what this is. CNN plans to lay off hundreds of employees. We don't know why, but they're just thinking about laying off hundreds of employees. And Saudi Prince eyes $600 billion investment in U.S. in the next 4 years. And there's rumors that Barack and Michelle Obama may be getting a divorce. And if you really want to go a little bit deeper with the rumors, there was maybe even a conversation with Jennifer Aniston that it's circulating. Who knows? Again, credibility, validity, nobody knows, but we will definitely talk about it and see where we go from there. Guys, if you're somebody that's a business person, an executive, somebody that wears French cut, you wear, what do you call it? Cufflinks, and you wear nice shirts, nice suits. A lot of people have been asking about it. We finally have it. Last week you saw Vinny in D.C. dressed. When Vinny puts his three-piece, money. When he looks like somebody running for office. We just got limited supply of these cufflinks with Vitamin logo on it. You have a choice to go with the silver and black, or you have a choice to go with the silver and red with the Vitamin logo on it. It's the set with the cufflinks as well as the, what do you call it, the tie bar that's on it as well, combined together with Future. You open it up, it says Future Looks Bright and Vitamin logo on top of it. For those of you that wear suits and you wear quality shirts and you want some cufflinks, go add this to your collection. We may not do this continuously in the future, but it may be something you want to add. And if more support is for this, we will consider adding more of these different types of things with cufflinks. So go to vtmerch.com, place your order. The first 50 that place the order get the coffee mug, Future Looks Bright, with the American flag and the 4547 stickers that we made, the limited edition stickers that we made that we'll send to you as well. All right, let's get right into it. Rob, can you pull up Larry Ellison's clip? Larry Ellison comes out and is giving a talk right in front of the president about vaccines that are there to possibly cure cancer. And I'll let him explain to you. You have to realize Larry Ellison is one of the most low-key, BMF, brilliant mentors to a lot of people that are front, face forward. You see them all the time. This is the guy that he is in a lot of people's ears. And so when he speaks, the right people listen. But I'm curious to know your thoughts on this. Tom, Vinny, Adam will come to you. Go ahead and play this clip, Rob.
We gene sequence. Once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
Tom, thoughts?
I think this is the exciting part of AI. What he's talking about is gene sequencing, where you can get in and you can understand all of the gene sequencing that you have and find out what you don't have. And, I'll describe it to people. If you've ever known someone that had a lot of bad allergies, Vinny, you've ever known anybody that had a lot of bad allergies?
Yeah.
And did they ever tell you that they had to go to an allergist and they lay down on the table and on their back?
Prick them a bunch of times?
Yeah, they do that. Yeah, they just little pricks, and there's like 10 of them in a row. And they said, number 7, number 8, and number 9. Fins, furs, and feathers. You can't have any pets, right? And they tell you what it is. Well, that's the old manual way. And then I remember 1978, I believe it was 78. I was in high school, and I remember seeing, we saw what a DNA looked like, the helix for the first time, and understood that how all these things attach together, and we had figured it out. Well, now with AI, we can break these puzzles, and we can go take a look at a cancerous tumor and say, aha, this is what you do. This is how you replicate yourself. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give this person a customized, basically, prescription so that the tumor can't grow. And so, and what he's talking about in 48 hours, he's talking about the incredible computational power of AI coming to the incredible ultra microscopic, size and complexity of cancerous tumors. And so I think, Larry gave a vision statement, and he's giving a vision statement when he's talking about AI, what it could do for all of us. And so, there's a lot of testing and a lot of things have to happen, but what he's pointing out is the vision for what this project could do. And I think it's pretty exciting.
Not a lot of people are supportive of it. Vinny, how do you feel about this?
First of all, this is another tech guy talking to us about vaccines, and what have we learned so far about that? The first mRNA shots have been linked, these are facts, to massive spike in what, Tom? Turbo cancer and SADS, sudden arrhythmic death syndrome. And now we're being told that AI combined with this mRNA is suddenly going to cure cancer and create personalized vaccines. I mean, call me crazy, but does that sound like a coincidence? Some people might say that. But I think if there's ever a miracle cure for cancer, they shouldn't be trying to make it a business and all that stuff. It should be given out to everybody for free. But the ugly truth, Pat, that nobody wants to talk about, there is a huge crisis right now for all-cause mortalities in the United States for deaths. And the age range, Robbie, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's the younger working class age range. It's up 40%. Strokes, heart attacks, cancers. And I looked this up. The global oncology, the cancer treatment market, the global oncology market encompassing cancer treatments and medications, it is substantial and continues to grow. In 2023, the market was valued at approximately US dollars, $201 billion, and is projected to reach guess what? By 2032, $518 billion. This is big business. And I was on X yesterday. I saw this on NBC. This is Dr. Gottlieb. I don't know who the other guy is, Pat, but he's asking him about his friends and everybody's getting sick and everything. And look at this guy's response. Go ahead, Rob.
On a serious note, I tweeted this out. A friend of mine, and if you're watching, I love you, diagnosed stage 3 breast cancer yesterday. Okay. Close family members of mine have had it. Another buddy of mine just had a stroke. He's nonverbal now. Buddy of mine was in a hospital for 3 days, just got out yesterday or 2 days ago, RSV pneumonia. I know I'm getting older. I know we're all getting older. Is it just me or is everybody sick? Like the level of RSV, pneumonia, all this stuff going around, strokes, breast cancer. New York Times did a story on breast cancer spiking. Doctor, can you give us an answer as to why? Because you know where I'm going with this. A lot of people point to COVID and maybe even the COVID vaccine because they don't know. What is it?
Yeah, look, we don't know is the answer. Some cancers are going up, you're right. Colon cancer in particular, the incidence has been going up, particularly in young people.
Under 30, yep.
Under 30 years old.
So we don't understand that. Some people believe it's related to changes in the U.S. diet. As far as the infectious disease that's going around, we have had a difficult season with flu, with COVID, with RSV. Those rates look like they're coming down
and
across
that's good,
most
Robbie.
of the country.
So what I'm saying is, I mean, it sounds like a good idea. I mean, and again, he's a tech guy. I'm not a big fan of anybody with tech talking about more this. And Robert Malone, on the way here, I was listening to it, Pat. He's anti all of this. Robert Malone, the guy that was silenced throughout COVID. He's like, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. I think this is it.
Kind of dumb, outdated approach. Oh, we're just going to grab the cells. Yeah, that's been known for years, circulating tumor cells. We're going to grab those. Well, that's a problem. That's actually not so easy to do by flow cytometry even. But we're going to grab them and we're going to sequence them. And then within 48 hours, we're going to apply a magic AI that's going to generate a cancer vaccine candidate. And then we can make that as an RNA. That is just either a egregiously pitched lie or somebody is advising Larry Ellison that doesn't know what the heck.
Well, this sounds like Elizabeth Holmes 2.0.
Doesn't know what they're talking about.
You can pause that, Rob. Okay, Adam, how do you feel about it? Because I got some thoughts here.
So, two things. One thing that we didn't have during COVID was genuine, honest debates between people who were pro-vaccine and maybe not so much pro-vaccine, right? So the closest thing we saw to it was when Rand Paul was grilling Anthony Fauci in front of Congress. So the fact that we didn't even have the ability to have a conversation, the fact that we didn't have the ability to have a debate, the fact that two opposing sides weren't able to sit down and be like, well, these are the pros and cons, but have you thought about this? No, what about that? You're wrong here. This could be right. that led to basically everyone being force-fed to take this. And then you being shamed, you being mandated. How many people lost their jobs? How many companies closed down? Because certain people in the government said, you have to do this. Mandates are no good. Now, as far as Larry Ellison goes, this guy is a freaking G. Now, I didn't associate him with vaccines or anything with healthcare. By the way, do you know how old Larry Ellison is? Can you show an image of this guy real quick?
78?
Take a look at this guy, Vinny. Just quick,
yeah.
what's his age?
78.
That guy's 80 years old. He's basically the same age as Biden. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's
2 years younger than Biden. This guy is tan, lean, and mean, and he's the, I think, 5th richest person in the world, depending on the day. Everyone says, oh, who are the top 10 richest people in the world? Everyone knows Musk. Everyone knows Bezos. Everyone knows Buffett. Everyone knows Zuck. How many people know that Larry Ellison is the OG of Silicon Valley? Did you know that?
I didn't know.
Okay, there you go, bingo. So here's a guy. I've actually studied this guy. What made me to begin to study this guy was when Pat mentioned that he was sort of the guy that mentored Elon Musk. And when Musk and Zuck and Bezos were having beef, you sort of alluded to him as like the OG. Remember when they signed the that beautiful document called the Declaration of Independence? Who was the OG in that crew? All right, it wasn't John Hancock. It wasn't George Washington. It wasn't any of those guys. It was Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin was that dude. Larry Ellison is the Ben Franklin of Silicon Valley. This guy's worth $200 billion. Everyone respects him. Here's a guy who was adopted. I think he grew up in New York, dropped out of college twice, self-made billionaire, and look at him now. So this guy has carries major weight.
So you're saying this, he's got credibility. I think the point
beyond
you made,
credibility.
So let's go through it here. Vinny, did you ever take a flu shot? Independently post-military?
Independently post-military? No, I turned it down.
Have you ever taken any shots post-military?
No.
None?
No.
Okay. Tom, have you ever taken a flu shot?
I took flu shots once or twice when the companies I was working for offered it. Hey, get your flu shot. And
as a choice, though.
As a choice, but then I stopped. I read about flu shots, and it's like I remember
Tom,
when
it's just yes. I'm just getting to a point here. I'm not
okay.
Yeah,
only a couple
Okay,
times
Adam.
early in my career. Not
Yeah, when
forced.
I was a kid, I took a flu shot. Yes.
Okay, so but as an adult, did you ever take a flu shot?
Not in years, no.
Okay, so did you ever take any shots as an adult? Did you ever take any shots where you're like, I'm going to go take this shot, I'm going to take this shot independently?
Nope.
Okay, so guess what's great about this year? If you think about, there's a few frustrating moments about when I'm watching this. Number one, my opinion is I'm okay with this because I have a choice to not take it. Rob made a very good point yesterday while we're talking. I think it was prep, Rob, if we're not, we're going through it. And it was like, look, if I have the option, I'm with them. You're right. If I have the choice, because the reason we had a challenge with COVID vaccine was what? It was forced upon you to take. Get the F off my back.
Yep.
My number one reason why I never took the vaccine was because it was forced, it was quick, and we didn't have any research on it. Now, for something like this, and you can sit here and be like, well, what about this and what about that and what about this? Okay, what have we already read about chemotherapy and what chemotherapy does and if it's good, if it's bad, and how much it even makes it worse?
My dad was deteriorated and died like that with
That's
chemo.
the point.
Yeah.
So would it be okay to have different kind of options? Yes. Should we be critical and skeptical about all of it? 100%. Why should we not trust anything new that they're giving us? Why are some people, I don't trust anything new you want to introduce to me. Why? Here's why. Andrew Schultz's clip, Rob, if you have it, I mean, you don't have to play the whole thing, but he makes such a great point when he says, let me get this straight. Fauci's getting a pardon. If you can play this clip, Rob, we don't have to watch the whole thing. Go for it.
But Fauci took the pardon. Fauci could say, I don't want the pardon. I don't think I did anything wrong. But he took the pardon.
I don't blame anybody for taking a pardon.
I do, because now you're guilty. Because there are a lot of people that were on the January 6th committee that were offered a pardon, and they said no. They're like, I did my job. I was supposed to investigate this. I did what I was supposed to do. I don't want the pardon.
If you're Fauci, you're not taking a pardon?
What's in my arm, yo?
What's in your arm, not mine.
That's what I'm saying. What's in my arm, yo? Why are you taking a pardon? What's in my arm, yo?
Okay.
What's in my arm?
I'm taking that part. I don't give a fuck.
If I put some shit in my arm, you're not allowed to get pardoned.
By the way, you can pause it. FYI. I 100%, but listen, never took the vaccine. Not one. I'm not taking one, not the second. Some took the one, some took all. Some were afraid afterwards. Some took the, what do you call it?
Boosters?
First booster, the second, the third, the fourth.
Yeah.
All I'm saying to you is, I didn't take any of it, right? But let's talk about the people that did take them. Do you know how upset people are right now that they trusted the government and they took it? And you want to tell me now that guy that said we have to trust the science, not all these other things, and if he is guilty, nothing happens to it? So to the community that doesn't want to hear anything from Larry Ellison, I fully understand and support them, fully. This is what I would do if I was President Trump. My number one job is the following. So when you're 80, how old is Fauci, Rob? Is he 81, 82? He's something like that, right?
He's
in his early
80s, yes. You can double fact check.
So when you're 84 years old, okay, what matters at 84 years old? Does wealth matter at 84 years old?
Like his legacy and his health.
I mean, if you have enough money coming in for you to pay your bills and live a decent life and go see your doctor and you have the medicine and you have a nice place and you see your grandkids, how much more money do you need at 84 years old? He's fine, right? Good. Okay. If you've given 50 years of your life to a job, what matters at 84 years old? That your kids want to see you, that your grandkids want to see you, and if you've busted your ass in an industry, what's more painful? Going to court, being sued, going to jail, or everybody finding out after heavy-duty research that you lied, that you were a POS, that you abused, that you used your powers to make money for certain people? What happens if that is finally exposed? No, he never goes to jail. No, you follow the pardon. But that doesn't mean you can't investigate and do a Twitter files type of thing that they did years ago and find out and call it the COVID files.
Yeah.
Let's find out the NIH files. Let's do the CDC files. He just cut the funding, the $350 million a year to World Health Organization. Guess what? We're going the right direction. I think if the president is able to get, RFK or somebody to finally expose a lot of people's questions, what the hell happened with this? And those questions are answered, then people will be receptive to the idea of an optional thing coming up with, what do you call it? With
the vaccines?
The vaccine. Now, I want to play this clip, Rob. If you can play this clip with Larry Ellison about surveillance, you have to know that these minds, it's going to a different direction that you just have to stay skeptical about. Here's this clip. Go for it, Rob.
Will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras. It's AI that's looking at the camera. No. You can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be immediately, an event that's immediately, an alarm is going to go off. It's going to be, and we're going to have supervision. In other words, every police officer is going to be supervised at all times. And the supervision will, and if there's a problem,
right there.
AI will report the problem.
So you see where this is going as well, right? Yeah. By the way, somebody may watch. I can make the argument for both sides. You can as well, by the way. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like, make the argument why this is good.
If I'm dying
surveillance, make the argument why you want cameras everywhere where all citizens are being watched. Cars are watching everything you're doing. The cars you buy are watching everything that you're saying.
Make the argument for it.
Make the argument like cops are being. Make the argument for every single behavior you're doing is being watched.
It's accountability, it's safety, it's security, and it's making everybody feel. And this is the argument because I don't believe in it, but just making everybody safe and secure. Nobody can get away with anything, and everybody's monitored all the time. It's safety blanket.
Now make the argument against.
I'll help you out with that one if you don't mind.
Anybody.
Against it go.
This is
it's a complete
1984
invasion
all over
of,
again. This
no,
is
it's
George Orwellian, Big Brother watching you
it's
at
a
all
complete,
times.
It's a complete
Very
invasion
scary.
of privacy, and you're only one step away from someone who decides what's right and what's wrong on a moral, ethical basis. And so now they like, you know what? All you people that are left-handed, you shouldn't be left-handed. You should only be right-handed. You shouldn't do that. Or what did you do that? Did you just spit on the sidewalk? And it says, yeah, a mosquito flew in my mouth and I spit on the sidewalk. We're not supposed to spit on the sidewalk. Suddenly you get into all that micro management, number one. And number two, then it's, well, now who decides what's right and what's wrong?
So this leads me to the following, which is the perfect transition. Can you pull up the TikTok President Trump negotiating, which, by the way, every sales leader should play this clip in front of their salespeople, because there's so many lessons to be learned on how he's not this one, Rob. He's standing up top. He's standing and he's talking about, when it comes down to TikTok, the government owns 50%. Are you open? Do you know which clip I'm talking about?
No, let me look, though.
Yeah, there's a clip of him standing up, and they're asking him a question about this with TikTok, and he proposes that the U.S. government gets 50%, and he gets the, Ellison, and I think this is it. Let me see if this is the one. This is it, Rob. Audio, guys.
And I've met with owners of TikTok, the big owners. It's worthless.
This is it.
If it doesn't get a permit. It's not like, oh, you can take the U.S. The whole thing is worthless. With a permit, it's worth like $1 trillion.
There you go, with a permit.
So what I'm thinking about saying to somebody is buy it and give half to the United States of America, half, and we'll give you the permit. And they'll have a great partner, the United States. And they'll have something that's actually more valuable because they have the ultimate partner, and the United States will make it very worthwhile for them in terms of the permits and everything else. But so think of it, you have an asset that has no value or has $1 trillion value. It all depends on whether or not the United States gives the permit. So what I'm saying is let the United States give the permit, and the United States should get half. Sounds reasonable. What do you think?
Sounds like a good deal to me, Mr. President.
Yeah. He can afford it too. And
so you see
who was he just talking to?
Ellison.
That was Larry Ellison right there.
You see this conversation that happens, right? And on the surface, what does it sound like? It sounds, it's the right negotiation.
Sounds good.
Sounds great. Sounds fantastic. The government owns half of it, and Ellison and Musk own the other half.
Oh, is that what he's saying? That the government would own half?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's government becomes a partner with you. So we own half, you own half. So what he's trying to say is, let's just say they buy it for $50 billion. Okay. I'm just making up a number. And then they take it to $1 trillion. Okay. So that's what? $950 billion. The government gets the 475, and whoever owns it gets the other 475.
Wow.
Splitting the...
When you say whoever owns it, do you mean the people of ByteDance?
Whoever in the U.S. that buys it, that he gives the permit to. It's almost like the year where, the U.S. government gave different media companies a license to... you remember this one here, where it was Fox, everybody was fighting for it, CNN, all these guys were like, I want one broadcasting license. But there is a concern. Tom, if you can give the history of that, and I'll give you what my concern is. Go for it.
So the licenses that that any media broadcaster have is issued by the FCC. And they have a whole set of things on carriage rules and what you can do and what you can say. Most people had no idea about it unless you were paying attention.
Keep going.
When George Carlin came out with the 7 words you can't say on television. Well, that was a rule that was made by the FCC. Yep. So the FCC said you can only do this, you can only do that, you only do this, you can do that. It also has publisher rules. And those publisher rules we heard because YouTube wanted nothing to do with being named a publisher, because that would mean that they had to moderate content. So all those rules are out there. And so I guess what he's saying is this would be a permit or a set of rules be issued by the U.S. government, and they would also own. Also, the U.S. government owns all the spectrum, which is the radio waves. Everyone has a license for certain radio waves, and they auction those off every now and then, like they did for all the cell phone companies, for billions of dollars.
Right. So
billions of dollars.
So what this is sounding like is I'll give you a permit to be a social media company in the States.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a license.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, there's a concern for me with this. So who would you rather monitor everything you're messaging, DMing, talking, posting, linking on your phone? Would you rather have China monitor your stuff or the U.S. government? Of course, the U.S. government, for me, instead of China. I don't want no foreign person watching the stuff that we're doing here. But do you know how close it is? The difference between China, the U.S. government, or private? Do you know the how close those three are for me? It's here, China, here, U.S. government, here, private.
Yep.
Okay? It's not the distance between the U.S. government and private is this far.
And why would you say
I'll
that?
explain to you why. Because, okay, so if under Trump administration, they buy TikTok 50%. This isn't England. He's not going to be president for 40 years. He's only president 4 years. So what if in 4 years, new person that becomes president is a Barack Obama? What if in 4 years somebody that becomes president is an AOC? What if in 4 years somebody that becomes president is a Newsom? What if in 4 years somebody that becomes president is whoever? And he replaces the side of the TikTok that is ran by somebody in the U.S. government to want to investigate what's going on. What are you going to say to him? You're going to say no? No, I'm very uncomfortable with a deal like that. I would much rather this be a deal in free market, in free enterprise. Let them go at it than having a U.S. government being involved. And again, remember how on Tuesday I said when you say U.S. government, what does that mean? I don't trust the U.S. government. I said, no, it's not that you don't trust the U.S. government. You don't trust the administration at the time that was representing the U.S. government, right? You may trust TikTok for the next 4 years if it's under Trump. I just don't trust who's coming after him. And whoever comes after him, that's the part where you got to sit there and say, what kind of regulation, what kind of authority, what kind of supervision, what kind of access are they going to have to see everything that you're doing? I'm good with that, Tom.
So close your eyes and imagine Gavin Newsom. And when I'm elected on day one, I will sign an executive order and we will get all this conservative hate speech swept off of Twitter on my desk on day one. Let me tell you, folks, that's how it does. Because I'm going to put Vincent Oshana on the FCC. He's going to be my guy, and we're going to take care of this crap. By the way, day one.
Oh, that would suck.
That's exactly right.
That would suck.
Once you give the government a button or a knob, they're going to turn it.
Of course.
And then what matters how it gets turned is who's in the chair. I don't want them to have a knob.
No. So think about what is the radio station that the government has? What is it? Is it VO?
PBS?
PBS?
Oh, VOA? Voice of America?
NPR. That's the one. I don't want no TikTok becoming NPR. No, by the way, if TikTok becomes NPR, we're out. Trust me, you're going to be sitting there saying, yeah, I'm good. I'm not even going to be thinking about TikTok. If the U.S. government, again, not because of Trump, because of who comes after Trump. It's very important to be thinking about that part, and I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not comfortable with it.
Well, what did Ronald Reagan say? The 9 scariest words you'll ever want to hear is, I'm from the government, and I'm here to help.
Right.
Yeah, so when I was asking, like, who would be taking over ownership here, I was like, oh, so the government and then private? All right, so it sounds like it's going to be some sort of public-private partnership in this regard. But, when you said, all right, China's here, U.S. government is here, and private enterprise free market is over here. I'm in agreement with you on most of it. I would just maybe consider the following. I'm actually more fearful of my own U.S. government overreach, like what Tom said, overreaching, Big Brother, George Orwell, 1984, than I am of China. Because China, we know they have bad intentions. By the way, China is one of the least free societies in the world. I've told this story repeatedly. At the event, there's the Chinese firewall, and like if you try to Google anything in China, it just doesn't come up. If you're not familiar with what is allowed in China, do your research. Nothing. You're allowed to see, hear, learn what the Chinese CCP government will allow you to learn. So they don't have our best interests in line, but that's not like they're going to throw you in jail. It's not like they're going to hold you accountable. Yes, they will try to indoctrinate the youth. Yes, it is a major national security data, massive concern. But the U.S. government controlling algorithms, controlling social media, I think that would be a disaster. By the way, what has the U.S. government done efficient Nothing. I mean, everyone talks about universal health care, having Medicare for all. It's the last thing I want the government doing.
Well, listen, validates the point. All I'm saying is, I don't think I'm good with something like this taking place. By the way, let me give you the next story that's coming up with everything that's going on here. Jim Acosta, this is a story from Mediaite. They say, can conservatives media survive Trump's presidency? Okay, can conservative media survive Trump's presidency? Let me read the article to you, and Rob, if you can, this is going to transition me into the clip that we just sent out right now a minute ago. Jim Acosta is known for self-indulgent rants during the first Trump administration. He displayed delusions of grandeur. Journalists exist to seek the truth, to shine a light on injustice, and to hold the powerful accountable. We're not the enemy of the people. We are the defenders of the people. Walter Cronkite once said, freedom of the press is not just important to democracy, it is democracy. For Acosta to make such claims after a 4-year period where the press failed on many levels, particularly in recognizing the president's dysfunction, turns their statement into more of a comedy routine. By the way, and this is Mediaite writing. This is not a conservative article. So just so you know, conservative truth-seeking is vital, not just for the GOP, but for the health of the country. However, too many in the conservative media have abandoned this in favor of acting as an arm of the President Trump, including pardoning Capitol rioters, delaying enforcement. You see, they're a very of the TikTok ban for personal reasons are impeachable in violation of its own. If conservative media fails to call out such actions, it ceases to be conservative media and mirrors the same delusions of Acosta. It's a good point. Having said that, while I'm reading this to you, this just came in. Anti-Trump Jim Acosta threatens to quit after CNN demotes him to midnight slot. Acosta is reportedly considering leaving the network after being stripped of his 10 a.m. show and offered a graveyard shift at midnight. The move comes as CNN slashes 200 jobs with Wolf Blitzer and Pamela Brown replacing Acosta's slot. Insiders say CNN wants to tone down theatrics as Trump begins his second term. Acosta's long history of clashes with Trump, including having his press pass revoked in 2018, reportedly made network bosses nervous. Tom.
So, Vinny, let's play a quick game.
I love these.
Vinny, you're the board of CNN,
okay,
right?
Wait. Let me sit like I got a stick in my butt. Go.
Okay, perfect. So now we're all set.
Yeah.
So, board, we have an issue here.
What is it?
We want to get rid of Jim Acosta.
Okay.
But we want to give him a $20 million severance by canceling his contract.
$20 million.
Is it okay if I pay him that?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you. Wait. I got an idea.
Go ahead.
Let's put him at midnight and wait 3 months. He'll quit. That way we don't have to pay any severance.
I love that idea, Tom.
Perfect.
Promotion for you.
I'll get right on it.
Thank you.
You are going to see so many of these moves in media because CNN is broke. They are absolutely broke. You'll see things, they made a little bit of profit. Yeah, well, they're not growing, and it's getting worse and worse on the cable side of it. And so what you're seeing with Acosta here, somebody in there is like, look, if you're really trying, if you like Acosta, you want to nurture and you want to say, hey, Jim, we got to make some changes. I need you to go along with the contract thing, and you're going to share 10 p.m. with somebody. This is what we're going to do. We got to do it like this. You got to play along. Right? That's what you do if you want to keep somebody. Mm-hmm. How about you do it like a 5 o'clock and then we'll do this in the evening. You negotiate it. You don't just say, hey, Jim, I got a great idea. We're going to put you on at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, this is Jim having a rough night last night. If you want to play this clip, it's
this was night
perfectly
in the
timed.
ruts.
Go ahead, Rob.
Was at the White House covering the first Trump administration when they had rioting outside of the White House. I mean, that was covered on CNN. What you're saying, this is not Fox, Congressman. You can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes. Yeah. This is CNN. This is the news. We're asking you to come on and tell the truth.
And that's why more people are watching the Cartoon Network SpongeBob reruns right now, Jim. Look, I left the White House during a riot. My life has been threatened within the last few weeks, yet there's no coverage of that. And you all continue this narrative of attacking Trump. You just can't stand the fact that he won and that America spoke.
Congressman,
and that your view is very diminished.
That's not the case at all.
And your view is very diminished.
It just feels so good because if you guys realize this, the anti-Trump thing during the last presidency that he was in was numbers. It was selling. It was Russia collusion. I am so happy that the American people are finally like, bro, we're done. Rob, I just sent you a chart. And I think we might have shown this before. The America's trust in mass media from 1972 to 2024. I mean, what are we even talking about? great deal, fair amount, not very much. Look at how nobody. It's over. It's literally over. Just fake news. And by the way, Jim Acosta was the first one. He's the initiator. He's the first one where Donald Trump goes, I'm not going to give you a question. And he's like, why? He's like, because you're fake news. He was the initiator. Right. He was the fake news guy. And I'm so happy. It took a long time for a lot of people out there that still don't get it. It took a long time. And I just sent him another one, PBD, was Rob, the him and the hoaxes. Like Jim Acosta, you can't spin a tail and put the wool over people's eyes. Look at how many times this guy has lied. It's a minute clip. Look at lie after lie after lie after lie.
This is not Fox, Congressman.
Oh, you
can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes. Yeah. This is CNN. This is the news. We are asking.
Robbie, get ahead.
Go ahead.
It's an alarming choice for a man who has often struggled to unequivocally denounce white supremacists. You recall these moments.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
Those words have power. They have meaning. And when Donald Trump speaks, the world listens. Neo-Nazis and white supremacists certainly listen. So why can't he denounce them? Why can't he reject their support?
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
What's your response to Donald Trump saying she should be fired, that Liz Cheney should be fired upon? He keeps speaking in these very extreme terms about the potential dangers to the country if he doesn't win in November. He's used words like bloodbath. This is
all
not
lies.
Fox,
All literally lie after lie after lie after lie after lie.
Here's the thing.
He's done.
Here's the thing with Acosta. He has a reputation at this point. He's that guy. He was the initial guy of your fake news, excuse me. But also, if you're negotiating with CNN, I just looked up. You think he makes less than $1 million a year on CNN? I think it's $700,000.
Way too much.
You can fact check that. What is it? $2 million? Okay, under Bidenomics, so inflation. So basically, what leverage does he have when he's going to go in? All right, if I don't stay with CNN, I'm going to go start my own YouTube channel.
Yeah,
or is he going to go to MSNBC? He's going to go the Don Lemon route and interview guys on the street. But here's the biggest problem with him, and it'd be very advantageous for him to do what Pat always recommends: is understand the concept of power versus force. Right now, I would say that he's sort of in the pride category. He's certainly not neutral. He needs to get to the ability to basically realize that he has been he kind of considers himself a journalist, a true I'm a journalist, sir. This is CNN. I'm a journalist. You consider yourself a journalist, but everyone, the market, considers you an activist. So this feeling of self-importance, this ego that he has, is not serving him very well.
And by the way, meanwhile, I'll just read this. I don't want any reaction on this one here. We'll just go to the next one. Fox News aired 500 of the most watched cable news shows since November 5th election. They dominated cable news viewership since November 5th broadcast, and all 500 most watched telecasts. That's embarrassing. That means the top 500 of the 500 shows telecasted were all through Fox. Okay, through the Nielsen data. This is according to Nielsen data, so it's not like they're making it up and it's their own research. It's programs including the 5 Jesse Waters, Hannity, Laura Ingraham secured the top spots, and the next non-Fox show was CNN's Election Day America, ranking 507. Fox News Media CEO Suzanne Scott stated millions of viewers across the political spectrum continue to tune into Fox News channel for our unrivaled reporting and analysis. Over nearly 2 decades, Fox has consistently been top-rated cable news outlet with a post-election 41% increase in viewership, while competitors MSNBC and CNN saw significant declines. MSNBC averaged 521 viewers per day, 38% drop. CNN averaged 367, 49% drop. Suzanne Scott attributed Fox's success to covering the stories that matter the most every day to Americans. Tom, I'll come to you real quick on this, and I'm going to go to the next story. Your thoughts on the story?
My thoughts on this one is everybody's making it about racism. Everybody's making it around bias. Everybody's making it about, you know what, get over it. This is about product. Nobody wants to drive a Yugo, so they don't buy them, and they go out of business. Nobody wants garlic ice cream, so guess what? They don't buy it. They like chocolate ice cream, and they feel like they're getting what they want at Fox.
Garlic ice cream.
And guess what? And everyone else, you're all of the other networks, MSNBC and CNN. There's a reason they're for sale.
All right, fantastic. There you go. And by the way, Here's Bloomberg, a complete different angle on what they're saying. Watch. And by the way, the amount of data this reporter, got to give her credit because the data's ridiculous what she did. So this article was written by Davey Alba, and, Leon Lin. I'm going to give these guys credit. Julia Love, Ashley Carmen, and there's a few of them. So a bunch of people worked on this. Elena, Rachel, and Priyan Jana. Okay, so the second Trump presidency brought to you by YouTubers, podcasters including Rogan, Theo, Logan Paul, mobilizing Americans meant to lean right, an analysis over 2,000 videos shown, and this is what they found. 2002 videos showed across the channel, found that 37% of highly viewed episodes discussed voting, often urging participation whilst critiquing social institutions. Hosts like Patrick Bet-David, Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz consistently address themes such as anti-transgender rhetoric, distrust in the traditional systems, and economic challenges. This messaging resonates with young male voters, 54% of whom supported Trump, making the largest Republican shift in decades. Rob, can you go to some of the data so we can look at this? What is this data here, Rob? What's this one?
This is a chart. Number of views, 100,000, 1 million, and 10 million leading up to Election Day.
Okay, keep going down. Go to some of the other ones that they had, which was keep going. There's okay, so zooming into this one.
They did homework, huh?
Yeah, they did homework on this one. So look at this here. So Aiden Live, 74 videos. He talked about transgender identity 7% of the time, immigration 5%, institutional medicine 1%, economy 3%, war 8%, voting and elections 11%. Flagrant, which is Schultz, 42 transgender, 19 immigration, 15 institutional, 27 economy, war 24%, voting elections 40%. So that's that one. Full send, Kyle and the crew, Steiny, all those guys, 32% to 20%, 15% institutional. So their highest one was voting in elections, and transgender was the second one at 32. Impulsive, transgender only 11, immigration 2%, institutional. So impulsive, really the highest one was institutional medicine. Lex Friedman, the highest one was war, then voting in elections at 40%, then you got economy 31%. PBD podcast, we had the highest for transgender identity. Interesting, 61%.
Well, Vinny.
We're ahead of Rogan by 8%. I don't know what that means to be ahead in transgender, but that's the numbers right. And by the way, the second after that is flagrant at 42. Immigration, we're at 50%, which out of everybody was the highest. Institutional medicine, 44%. Rogan was at 64%. Economy, that's our play, we're business, so 50%, we were the leader in that. War, 58%. Really? War, 58%. Interesting. Voting in elections, 69%. They had us at the top with that. And obviously, Tom and Amy, you guys did a phenomenal job with that part when you guys had your show, but they're talking specific to PBD podcast. JRE, 53, immigration, 42, leading the way with institutional medicine, 64, economy, 34, war, 55%, and voting in election, 59%. Sean Ryan's high was war 50, economy 47, military background. He does a great job as well. Theo Vaughn 31, 26, 30, 30. All channels 29, 25, 27, 33, 27, 37. Very interesting. Go a little bit lower for some of the other things that they had, Rob, because they had a couple other great charts. I don't know what you just did, Rob, but you're doing great.
What do these numbers mean exactly? I'm trying to make sense of what
this
it means.
is
What percent
of the set of the set of videos they surveyed. What percent of those videos contain those themes? Because all these podcasts covered many stories.
Yeah.
Look at us; we go soup to nuts, and so
maybe that's why they were so high on transgender, because you're saying things like
we mention it in a lot of our videos.
Yeah, so if you go, Rob, there's another one that was sent yesterday. I don't know if you have it here on who interviewed who.
You know,
it was sent in the group text.
I can grab that. I have that. Hang on one second.
It was interesting to see like the impulsive, very low, 9%, 11% across the board. So that just, to me, it says it's more of people watching just to see the celeb, like, you know what I mean? The people on it. It's not really what they're saying.
Are you trying to say that people don't go to Logan Paul for tips on the economy?
These are just these.
What are you saying?
These are just these topics. What do you go to Logan Paul? You got UFC, you got sport, you got a lot of
pop culture,
stuff.
And he's great at that.
Yeah.
For sure. Vinny, I know you're getting emotional when you bring up Logan Paul.
I'm so
okay?
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, but this one here,
what was this, Pat?
Podcast percentage, 40% political. Then you have second highest was other. Then it's athlete. Then it's celebrity. Then it's influencer. then it's intellectual, then it's comedian.
Well, what is other? The economy and business?
Whatever. That's
not on there.
That's so interesting you say that because business isn't there. Can you go to the next clip, Rob? What they had? There was a couple pictures. Zoom in on this. What does this one say? 30% of top podcasts, top guests are political or pundits. Top 30 guests by total viewership. So Donald Trump is saying he went on all those shows, 113 total million views. Then Tate went on 3, got 81 million views. Tucker went on 6, got 49. Musk went on 238. Interesting the way they're breaking this thing down.
But it's not accurate because it has us right here with Tucker Carlson.
Well, Pat went on Tucker's show, so maybe that's how they're considering that. But by the way, I don't know how much this is accurate, how it's not. But shout out to them for putting this together. I've never seen anything like this.
No, there's no question
impressive.
about it. Yeah. So Rob, go to the other one, Rob. And then was there another one that they had there? No, not this one. Was there another one with charts? Anyways, I think it's worthy of reading. But here's the thing that you have to realize. Mm-hmm. Think about the people that feel they missed out in 2024. There's a lot of people.
In what sense?
Yeah, like Kamala.
No, like people who are actual content creators that are like, man, you know, I didn't go all in and I was scared to get too political. I mean, it's a big opportunity that you missed.
Yep.
A big opportunity that you missed because you were afraid of going and talking about issues that people care about. Yep. That's a massive opportunity you missed out on. And shout out to Bloomberg for doing this. Obviously, their purpose of doing this is to say that these podcasts are influencing young males and, you know, that's why this is taking place. And there's even an article, Rob, that said parents are arguing with their kids. Yeah, here, Trump's Gen Z male appeal has liberal parents clashing with their conservative sons. Tell me that's not the craziest thing you've ever heard.
Sounds weird.
Let me just read this to you. So a New York Times article revealed a growing trend of liberal parents clashing with their conservative Gen Z sons over political differences, particularly support for Trump. Alex Baer shared that he argued with his son Eli about guns, immigration, and abortion, describing his frustration in text exchange. Facts don't matter to you. Love you. Have a good day. Many parents like Melanie Moreland view their sons' political choices as an expected act of rebellion or independence, but admit the conflicts feel like a painful rejection of their values. Trump gained significant traction among young voters, winning 53% of men aged 18 to 44, despite Vice President Kamala Harris securing a majority of the youth vote. Some parents, like Alexei Sorokin, blamed online conservative influencers. It's your fault, online conservative influencers, Adam, for shaping their sons' beliefs, saying, I was like, who's got a hold of my son? I've lost him. Tom, thoughts?
You know what? This was interesting. This was really interesting. You know that old joke that says, what happens when you play a country song backwards? You know, your truck is no longer wrecked. You get your girlfriend back and you get your dog back. If you play the song backwards. Well, I feel like
that was actually good, Tom.
I actually feel like you just played the song backwards. I take you to the 60s. Conservative parents coming into the Vietnam War, their kids in the late 60s are smoking weed, protesting Vietnam, going bonkers, free love, and all this stuff.
Now parents are smoking weed.
Now the parents are still smoking weed, and they've got their conservative sons going to college and saying, Dad, you're nuts. Taxes are important. And what's happening at the immigration and abortion is crazy. And all this stuff on abortion and free love stuff, Mom, you're crazy. And then they're like, man, what happened to my son? It's like a time warp. It's
hilarious.
Like we've all gone backwards. And now the kids, but you know what that means? That means the future looks bright. That means the future looks bright because the next generation is standing up and saying, wait a second. Let me think about this and let me process it. And guess what? That's what we're all about, aren't we? We want you to listen to this podcast, process with us, make up your mind for yourself,
Adam,
and then call your parents and tell them they're nuts.
Well, it's interesting. Some of these articles sort of have a similar theme. So this was Trump's Gen Z male appeal has liberal parents clashing with conservative sons, almost like the exact opposite, right? We've all heard the stories about the people that go to Catholic school and they're so mandated to act a certain way, and the day they graduate, woo, watch out. We know what happens there. But there's also something that is totally different. You talked about the boomer generation. You talked about the anti-war generation, Vietnam, and then it was Gen X and millennials. But this generation has grown up with social media in their hand. You know, you talked about the article in the last podcast about we're so inundated with information. You said 80%, Pat. What was it? 80% of our day?
89 hours, 82 hours a week.
Something crazy.
Yeah.
So we also recall that there's an article, I don't know if it's The Economist, I don't know if it's Guardian, but if you put this in, how young men are becoming more conservative and then young women are becoming more liberal, which is going to be pretty dramatic and tough in the dating pool. Is this it right here? Yeah, why young men are becoming conservative. No, there's a graph. We did it with Charlie Kirk that one day, but and here's another article right here, Wall Street Journal, the rise of young Republicans in America's college campuses. So what's happening is young men are becoming more conservative. And look, Barron Trump gets a lot of credit. Our friend Bo Loudon is gets a lot of credit. And young women, unfortunately, are losing their mind because young men, they at least have sort of male archetypes to look up to. Look at all the names on the podcast right there. If you're sort of a younger guy and you're looking up to the Nelk Boys or the Logan Pauls, all right, cool. At least they stand for masculinity. If you're more a little bit older and you identify with the PBD podcast, or if you're super old and you identify with other members of the PBD podcast, it's fine. But young women, who are their female archetypes? Who are their role models? Is it Cardi B?
Joy Behar?
Is it the women on The View? Is it Taylor Swift? All right, not as bad. Who is it? And then women are getting more encouraged to be more liberal. They're focusing on abortions, not having babies. They're focusing on taking men's jobs, yet then when they want to go out on a date, they want the men to pay. So it's sort of backwards in the women's world, but men at least have leaders to look up to at this point.
All right, let's go to this next story. Why people think Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are getting divorced. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So rumors of a potential divorce before Barack and Michelle emerged after Michelle skipped two high-profile events, which is traditionally attended by former presidents and their spouses, and their funeral of former President Jimmy Carter. Michelle's office gave no reasons for her absence, prompting widespread speculation about marital status issues. Social media and tabloids questioned the couple's relationship, with many noting the unusual nature of her missing such significant events. Despite the rumors, there have been no concrete evidence of such statements from the Obamas confirming or denying any marital problems. The speculation gained traction online, particularly on Twitter. Users pointed to Michelle's absence and the lack of public explanation as possible signs of trouble in their 30-year marriage. Vinny.
I mean, we talked about this, what was it, a week ago? Just looking at the last photo that they shot of them at dinner table, if I'm just a body language reader, just looking at them sitting that far away, Rob, do you have that photo? How far? It's almost as if they could have been eating in another room.
They had their own zip codes.
Yeah, and she's mentioned it
Right
before.
there, Rob,
yeah, like okay, guys, let's just go off of body language. Somebody obviously told them to smile, but I mean, I personally like to sit next to the girl that I'm dating. I want to be next to her so I can obviously steal her food. I think we all agree on that. But I don't. This is my opinion. I don't feel as if this is genuine. They're a political couple. I mean, there's been rumors. We already know all the stuff that has been rumored around Barack and what Tucker interviewed. What was his name? Larry Sinclair. And you could believe whatever you want to believe. I just have a feeling that it's real. I know Jennifer Aniston, there was a tabloid surface in October about them having a romantic relationship, which I kind of don't believe. She said it didn't happen, that she only met him once. But I don't know. If I'm a vibe guy, she missed two major things. And I understand the hating of Donald Trump, but this solidifies to me that there's problems in the home front, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're not even around each other.
Here's one thing that I don't get. I'm not going to lie. The whole conversation about why you think they're going to get a divorce, or Michelle Obama is not really Michelle, it's Big Mike. It just doesn't add up to me. I think it just seems like a complete cope and hating on the Obamas. And I'm no fan of Michelle Obama. She ain't my type. She ain't my thing. But you know how many other U.S. presidents in the history of the United States have gotten divorced? Zero. The only president that has ever gotten divorced is Ronald Reagan to his first wife before he became president in 1950. So there's zero template. There's zero case examples.
Okay.
How Tom talks about words talk, numbers scream. The number is zero. So I don't think that there's anything on the agenda. Now, if I'm Barack Obama and I'm thinking about getting a divorce, why don't you consider this? Just do what other great presidents do and just cheat on your wife on the low. JFK, Marilyn Monroe, Ronald Reagan, whatever he was doing, Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky. I get it. So if that's something you're considering, maybe you take alternative measures to basically explore the space and explore the room. But it makes no sense to me as why they would be getting
Pull
a
up that
divorce.
clip, Rob. Pull up that clip, and Tom, I'm coming to you next. Because Adam just gave very wise counsel here.
Am I wrong,
angles are
though?
always-
JFK?
Jennifer Aniston has turned off comments on Instagram after DM leaks of affair with Barack Obama. Okay, what is the DM leaks, Rob? Can you pull up to see if there's DM leaks? Tom, your thoughts on this?
Well, here's what I think. First of all, why does it matter what's happening in their relationship? But what I found was very interesting was the story was broke by Yahoo.com Entertainment.
They still
Would
exist?
8 years ago, would have Yahoo.com Entertainment been allowed to say anything negative about Barack Obama? Hell no. Would they have been allowed to? They weren't even allowed to cover the girls, the Obama girls. Do not cover them as teenagers. They say something, they do something, they talk to somebody, they get their first kiss from a boy, or they look weird, or they're out there, you know, smoking Salem's like their dad. Don't cover it. The media was threatened with harm. You will harm to your business. You will not cover this. And now Yahoo.com Entertainment is actually running kind of a negative piece, which to me, it shows one thing.
What?
I don't care about the divorce. It shows you how far the gloss has faded on the Barack Obama star.
Yeah, and Adam, just to go to your point, I mean, I know you don't care. I genuinely don't. I can care less, divorce or not divorce. No presidents have had a divorce, but you know why they don't? Because they can't. Your look to the public perception. If Barack Obama and Michelle Obama get divorced, her political future, if she ever wanted one, is completely finito. And then the questions about
Her
him.
political future.
No,
What political future does she want?
What do you mean?
If she had any interest in a political future, now was the time. When you have a vegetable candidate and she's the leading person in the polls, and Kamala Harris was sort of catapulted in. Everyone talks about Michelle Obama running. Everyone talks about it. And now I always say, like, what interest has she ever shown?
Adam, not interest.
What,
You don't have to show
public
interest.
office has she ever had? What interest has she ever
Adam,
shown?
Donald Trump never had.
Speculation.
Donald Trump never had a public office. But here's the thing, Adam. When
Donald
you're in
Trump
them,
talked about running for president for 30 years, bro.
They asked him,
and then
if
he finally did it.
Adam, but what,
she's never once talked about it, and I could care less.
Adam,
I have
it's
no
not
interest
what
in
your
Michelle
interest is.
Obama.
Guess what?
People seem so fixated.
When you're
on it.
in their
What are you
machine,
saying? Your point is what?
I'm saying when you're in the machine,
Yeah.
you don't have a choice. If her husband goes,
No,
go,
I don't know about that.
We're the
So
party. You're
ridiculous.
gonna run.
You don't have a choice.
You're gonna run.
Hey, you're gonna run. I don't want to. No, you're gonna run.
Well, okay, then, ready for this though?
Show
If she
me
ran-
somebody.
Can I finish?
Show me some. No.
Can I
'cause
finish?
I'm gonna
If she
interrupt
was
you.
gonna run, if she was gonna
show me
run, she
somebody
would have
that
won.
didn't want to run, that ran.
Adam,
Show me someone.
What I'm saying to you.
Show me.
is
Give me one
when
example.
Joe Biden.
He wanted to run. What
He
do you
doesn't
mean?
know what the hell
he
is
wanted
going
to
on.
run so bad that he was supposed to be a one-term candidate, and this vegetable decided to run twice, and everyone had to pull the plug on him before basically he embarrassed himself in another debate.
So
he wanted to. He was a career politician for 50 years.
If Michelle
he
Obama
ran 3 times
if
for
Michelle
president.
Obama,
Don't tell me he didn't want to
if
run.
Michelle Obama ran this way around, would it have been a close race.
All right, so let me just show you this.
Hey, Rob, want to go
Yes.
to
By the way,
Starbucks?
here's what I found. It's so serious that Jimmy Kimmel asked Jennifer Aniston on the show, is there something going on with you and Barack? I've never seen this. I just sent it to Rob. Rob, is this really him asking her about the magazine?
Yeah, so apparently
Is
these
this
rumors.
recently?
No, so apparently the rumor started back in October of last year, and this clip is from around that time.
Let's see it.
Worry about that. Like, for instance, like, this is a magazine that came out a couple of weeks ago and said the truth about Jen and Barack.
It's loud.
That's kind of, that was, of all the calls you get from your publicist where you're just like, oh no, what's it going to be? Or the email saying, you know, some cheesy
how nervous she is.
tabloid is going to make up a story, and then it's that.
Yeah. Does your
I was not
publicist
mad
ever
at
go,
it.
like, is
She's not mad at it.
She wasn't
is
mad.
there any truth to this? Or is it,
No, that is absolutely untrue.
well, I know it's not true.
Yeah.
I just don't know if everybody
Oh,
knows.
yeah,
it
you
is
know
untrue.
everything. You know everything, Jimmy
So,
Kimmel.
by the way,
You believe her?
look, let me just say this part. So, you know, as you go through it, if they get a divorce, and it doesn't work out, it's their business. You know, when you're a public figure, other people can react to it and say whatever they want to say. Jennifer Aniston has had that happen to her. You know, when a girl took her guy, and we know who that was, Angelina Jolie. So she may be like, "Look, can I finish my legacy with me taking a bigger guy away?" You know, you took Brad, I get it, but I took Barack.
That's kind of a
I don't know. I don't know about that. But may I finish my?
Yes, sir. Sorry,
okay. All I'm saying is, in regards to this, if they do end up getting, remember, how many presidents have we had so far?
47.
No, we haven't had 47 presidents. It's 45, 47 is the same president. So how many total presidents have we had? Total presidents have we had? 45 men have served 47 presidencies. Okay.
Got it.
So we've had 45 presidents. Okay. 1 out of 45, none of them have gotten a divorce yet. It's eventually. We've only had 45 of these guys. It's not like we've had a lot of them. Could it happen? It could happen. And the part that makes me a little bit, speculative here, skeptical here is, which of the two ceremonies to not show up to do you think gave me more concern? Carter or not showing up to Trump's inauguration?
Carter,
yeah.
100%.
It's a national thing, and he was a decent
president
guy.
has nothing to do with Trump.
Died.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's some funerals you have to go
A
to.
Democratic president.
Right.
Great
so
point.
you don't go to that and you don't even comment. First of all, if I'm the Carter family, I feel disrespected. Now, maybe she would have called them and said, look, I don't want to comment on this, but I'm calling you out of respect just to tell you I'm not going to be there for my own reasons. Please understand I can't. I'm so sorry. Da-da-da-da-da. Great. Maybe she made that phone call to the Carter family. Great. Good for you. But if you don't go and you don't comment, you can say, like when Melania said, I'm not going to the White House to sit next to Jill and Biden or whatever. No problem.
Fine.
She was never good to me. No problem. I totally get it. By the way, even Mike Pence's wife not getting up, but she showed up. What is she saying? I'm here because my husband is here. I can't stand the Trumps. Guess what?
Fine.
Cool. We got it. So that's the part where her not showing up is I don't want to be around Barack, because if that story is true with him and Jennifer Aniston, of course, it's very painful for Michelle, because Michelle doesn't look that good in the last picture that they posted. To be honest with you, if you go look at that picture that was posted, you know what's the most common thing people said about it?
She looks.
Why would you ever post this picture? Yes. No. People were, and I'm actually not being funny. They were asking Barack, why would you ever post this picture? What
her?
part of Michelle's picture? Barack looks great. That is not a.
Could you close up on her, Rob?
Actually, don't. But can you zoom out a little bit? Not for bad
okay.
reasons. It's just she doesn't look good in that picture.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't look good. So guess what you do when sometimes you don't look good? You ask and you say, hey, babe, you okay if I post this picture? No, use this one. Use that one. Use this one. So I don't even know why he posted the picture. You know, he has his own reasons for posting a picture. So a lot of people said, why are you even doing this? It's not cool for you to post a picture like this. So who knows what's going on there? But if it does happen, it's their business. They have kids. They'll figure it out and they'll move on. And this won't be the first or the last president that will go through this, because marriage is very hard. And God willing, they make it work. But if they don't, it's their problem. They have to deal with it with their kids. And we'll react to it and we'll give our thoughts on it. But I hope they make it work, because marriage is a very difficult thing to do. And Barack, you got to say this in a very strange way, but Barack's aged well. Yeah. He's still a good-looking guy.
Yep.
Okay? He still takes care of himself. He goes and works out and all this other stuff. So, and you're a former president. You're smooth, the way you talk, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself. Yeah, you know, of course he's had a lot of, the other day I'm reading a comedian's telling the story about the times that Tiger Woods did what he did. And his wife, he says, my wife at night is like, you know what? I hate Tiger. And he's like, why do you hate Tiger? He cheated on his wife. He says, well, how about your brother who cheated on his wife? How come you don't hate him? But he only did it once. He says, honey, he only did it once because that's the only chance he had in his life. Yeah. He says, you got to give Tiger credit, because the 18 times he did, he had 82,000 chances.
Oh, my God, yeah.
So he deserves a Nobel Prize for so the way he was.
He actually is below average.
You understand what he's saying?
Yeah.
It's like to say your brother is the one you should hate, not Tiger, right?
So he's under par.
He's under par.
He's under par. But it was funny listening to it. All I'm saying in this situation here is, you know, you got to do your best, and we wish these guys the best. I don't agree with them at all politically. I believe November 5th was the worst day of his life, and I understand he has lost more credibility than ever, but personal life is their business. Hopefully they'll figure it out. All right, next story I want to go to is John Bolton. Rob, if you can pull this up. So the president comes out, and he where's the story about Trump taking John Bolton, which was an earlier page.
Page 3 or 4.
Is it on page? So John Bolton loses Biden's approved Secret Service detail after Trump yanks security clearance. Rob, if you have a clip on that was being pulled. Which clip is this, by the way, Rob?
I have two. I have John Bolton complaining to CNN about it, and then I have Donald Trump responding.
Play
to the
John Bolton's complaint first, please. Go ahead.
Revoking your security detail, ending your Secret Service detail.
Well, I've had better days, that's for sure. This is, I think, typical of Trump the man. This is the kind of character or lack thereof who's now president. You know, when President Biden, recognizing the threat against me and several other current and former U.S. government officials, authorized the Secret Service to restore protection, which I had when I was National Security Advisor. I'm sure he probably wasn't the happiest man in the world because of the criticisms that I've made of him on his foreign policy. But he did it because it's simply not permissible to allow a rogue state like the terrorist in Iran to threaten Americans, whether they're in government or not, simply for expressing opinions or, in the case of the government employees, doing their job. Trump has decided to reverse it. It's obviously within his power to do it. But I think this is a matter that people should take seriously and let them contemplate who made the right decision here, President Biden or President Trump.
Well, let me ask
Tom.
So I think it's pretty funny that Bolton actually was admitting to things. Yeah, we helped plan some coups. And then he has to say, not here, but, you know, in other places.
Venezuela.
That's his actual quote. Not here, but, you know, in other places. Oh, thanks for clearing that up. So you weren't working with Nancy Pelosi to overthrow Biden, right?
Yeah.
No, she did that on her own. That was not our operation. And then he talked about things that they were involved in. All I got to say is it's not about Bolton. This is what our intelligence agencies do. They infiltrate and go to overthrow things that they don't like. Venezuela had a really, was very close to being a full rogue state. And Bolton says, we're going to support Juan Guaido. And we got to get this Nicolas Maduro guy out of there. And this guy's illegitimate. This happens all the time. So it's like, one hand is, what are you so surprised at? The other hand is, it's John Bolton at his best. Yeah, there was a coup here. Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, yeah, we did try to overthrow a couple things. But that's it.
Vinny.
Yeah, well, and this is in my opinion, he is the epitome of when people talk about the deep state. It's him. Okay, he spent his entire career pushing for wars and chaos to feed his ego and his wallet. Tom, if you remember 2003 Iraq invasion, he was one of the loudest voices claiming that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. He was one of those guys, okay? And obviously, they didn't. But they left almost, Rob, what was the number, bro? 7,000?
Over 7,085 U.S. soldiers died in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Dead. Over a million, meaning all the damage, all the everything, 1 million people altogether, lives, trillions of dollars, left our reputation in the freaking dirt and caused people to hate us even more and branch out all these other terrorist organizations. And it's like, these are the type of wars, and it's not just a war hawk mentality, all right? He's been pushing agendas that hurt American interests in the long run. He was involved with sabotaging the Iran nuclear deal. He undermined North Korea peace talks. He supported Saudi Arabia's war in Yemen. And he acted, and you talked about this, Tom, the regime change in Venezuela. Rob, you have that video, brother, of him actually saying it on camera, and he's kind of being funny about it. Like, yeah, we went in there. Rob will look it up.
I have it right here.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know that I agree with you to be fair, with all due respect. One doesn't have to be brilliant to attempt a coup.
I disagree with that. As somebody who has helped plan coup d'etat, not here, but other places, it takes a lot of work, and that's not what he did.
When we were talking about what is capable of what you need to do to be able to plan a coup, And you cited your expertise having planned coups.
I'm not going to get into the specifics, but
successful coups.
Well, I wrote about Venezuela in the book, and it turned out not to be successful. Not that we had all that much to do with it, but I saw what it took for an opposition to try and overturn an illegally elected president, and they failed.
And just going back really quick to what his type of character about the Iraq weapons of mass destruction post 9/11. Do you guys remember Tom, Jose Bustani? He was the guy that was running the organization for the prohibition of chemical weapons. He was working on a deal to let weapons inspectors go into Iraq to see, if they had any weapons of mass destruction, which could, help them and not have us go to war. Bolton bullied him out of a job and even threatened his family. And then he writes a book, The Room Where It Happened, where he says all these big revelations about Trump until it was time to cash in. Okay, he should have said it earlier, but he wanted to make money. And I'm so happy they're removing Secret Service detail from him. Good for him, okay? Because documents obtained by 60 Minutes revealed that the Secret Service spent, you're never going to guess, former National Security Advisor John Bolton and Robert O'Brien for 1 year. Guess how much it costs? $12 million for two guys for 1 year of protection. Your tax dollars, my tax dollar, to protect these type of people that just want America to be in war. They want to harm America. So I'm so happy. And this is it, Rob? This is Trump getting rid of his
This is yesterday, Donald Trump calling John Bolton stupid.
Can we play this? Can we play this?
Yeah, of course.
Because I think there was enough time. It's we take a job. You take a job, you want to do a job. We're not going to have security on people for the rest of their lives. Why should we?
Good.
I thought he was a very dumb person, but I used him well because every time people saw me come into a meeting with John Bolton standing behind me, they thought that he'd attack them because he was a warmonger. He's the one that got us involved, along with Cheney and a couple of others, convinced Bush, which was a terrible decision, to blow up the Middle East. We blew up the Middle East and we left. We got nothing out of it except a lot of death. We killed a lot of people.
Yep.
And John Bolton was, one of those guys, a stupid guy. But no, you can't have that for life. You shouldn't expect it for life.
And I think it's beyond stupid, Pat. It's just these are the guys. These are the guys that are like Nikki Haley. They want war. The military-industrial complex, Tom. They want to fight because they have to keep making the bullets, keep making the bombs, keep making the helicopters. And when there's no war, as you guys know, Pat, there's no money being made.
Well, Nikki Haley's on the board.
That's what I'm saying.
She's a paid board member of the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
Look, John Bolton is one thing, but let me kind of give maybe a deeper perspective. You remember when we had Eric Trump on the podcast? And I said, let me ask you, in 2016, when you guys assumed office, you guys probably weren't really too sure of what was going on. How much more equipped are you guys this time around? He goes, it's not even close. It's not even close. We had literally no idea what we were doing. We thought we knew who was who. We thought we knew who to hire, but we thought we were going to drain the swamp. But it turns out that swamp is a lot nastier than I thought. This time around, he says, listen, we know what's going on. We know who's who. We know who has our back. We know who's loyal to the agenda. We know we know where the bodies are buried, so to speak. So he's way more equipped this time around. That's why I'm so excited to see what Trump this time around. The first time around, the media was against him. The rhinos were against him. Certainly the Democrats were against him. The independents were against him, right? Me included. But this time around, reasonable people, anyone with common sense, we're seeing what Jamie Dimon is saying. We're seeing Elon Musk didn't vote for him. There he goes now. Joe Rogan didn't vote for him. There he is now. All these people, RFK is now on his team. Tulsi didn't vote for him, now on his team. All people with common sense are like, yo, this is the guy. This is the guy. Because he's loyal to the country. Turns out that whole Russia collusion thing, nobody's talking about that anymore. Turns out he's actually not a Nazi. All right, what's happening with that? So he's going to clean out the swamp, but he has a mandate this time around. So economic nationalism, tariffs, trade, taxes, eliminating all the bad deals. Didn't he just get out of the Paris Climate Agenda?
Climate Accord.
Exactly.
Paris Climate Accord.
The WHO, immigration, strong borders, everything that he said that he wanted to do the first time around, and nobody was there to help him. That's exactly what he's doing this time around, and people are there to help enact him. I'm excited to see what he's able to do.
All right, so let's go to the next story here. Let me see which one I want to go to here. Okay, AOC torn to shreds for jewsplaining to anti-defamation league in dispute over Musk's inauguration salute. So is this, let me see this one here. Just to be clear, you are defending a Heil Hitler salute that was performed and repeated for emphasis and clarity. People can officially stop listening to you as any sort of a reputable source of information. Now you work for them. Thank you for making that crystal clear. And what did ADL say, by the way? This is a delicate moment. Can you click on their tweet, Rob, so I can
I have
read?
to go find. That's a screenshot, but I can find
okay.
it.
Go do that while I'm reading the story. So let me go to what the story is actually about. So AOC, widespread criticism after accusing ADL defending Heil Hitler gesture. She wrote on it, just because, okay, got it, I wrote that. Thank you for making a question. The ADL had defended Musk, stating it seems that Musk made an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm, not a Nazi salute, urging people on both sides to avoid jumping to conclusions. Social media users condemned Ocasio-Cortez, with one saying, we now have AOC juice-plaining to ADL. Another word, AOC trying to juice-plain to ADL why they are anti-Semitic. She's officially lost her mind. Adam, your thoughts on this?
I don't know. This is a new term that I'm learning, juice-plaining. I've heard of mansplaining. I've heard of, obviously, explaining. But this is just so rich how AOC, who was part of the Gays for Gaza, Free Palestine Brigade, who has no love for the state of Israel, the democratically elected Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, no love, but yet she's the person to basically side with the Jewish people. Stop it. So, I don't know if I can find this video. I'll try to find it. But basically, when we were there, we're sitting in the box. Elon Musk came on, excited, awkward, no doubt. And he's talking about what? Going to Mars. And he almost was like, to infinity and beyond. And he threw out the hand signal. And even me, I have a video. I was like, whoa, what was that? Because it was awkward. It was weird. At no point was I like, yeah, Elon Musk, Nazi. Look, I've seen Star Trek. I've seen Star Wars. Hell, Spaceballs. I never saw Nazis in space. So now you're going to tell me Elon Musk, who's doing all these amazing things, secretly low-key, he's a white nationalist Nazi? By the way, Bibi Netanyahu, remember that speech in Congress 6 months ago or so? Do you remember that joint session of Congress?
Of course, yes.
With a round of applause, the absolute love affair that U.S. Congress had with Bibi Netanyahu, and even me, who's Jewish and pro-Israel and very pro-America, was like, let's tamper this down a little bit. Do you remember who was sitting in the crowd? One of the very few private citizens that was invited. He was sitting next to Douglas Murray, one of the most staunch advocates for Israel and anti-terrorists in the world. Do you remember who was sitting right there listening to Bibi Netanyahu? It was Elon Musk. So stop it with the ridiculousness that you think he's going to come on stage on the world's biggest stage, and that's the day that he's going to do the Nazi symbol. It's absurd. And then you can juxtapose with all the pictures of literally AOC, of Barack Obama doing this.
Tim Walz and all of them.
Okay, so people raise their hands. Was it awkward? Yes. Was it bad timing? Certainly. Is homeboy a low-key Nazi? 0% in my opinion.
And good point, Adam. And what people fail to realize is the guy has autism. Okay, and I don't know if you guys know, I have family members that have autism. They're not normally going up in front of a crowd. How many people were at Capital One? You guys are packed.
20,000 people.
20,000 people. These guys are normally, especially at his level, Asperger's. It's still autism. Yeah, it's still on the spectrum. But you put those guys in front of I don't know of any people with autism out on a stage like that after he invested all this money, all this time, buying Twitter, everything like that, investing in the thing, and then his guy wins. He's excited. He's on that moment, as if these morons think that he planned in his head. He's like, I'm going to go on stage, I'm going to be cheerful, and then I'm going to do a Hitler salute, okay? But you know what it is? You would think the left would get the picture that the whole Hitler-Nazi thing doesn't work. You have to adjust and change the damn game plan. And I'm happy. I'm happy that she's up there opening her mouth. I'm happy that she's calling Donald Trump a rapist. I'm happy that Gavin Newsom is getting exposed, because this is injuring their future political, election, whatever they want to be. These clips are going to last forever.
This is AOC, right?
This is AOC, which I isn't it libelous if you're saying this about?
Play the clip.
Go ahead.
All these journalists are like, Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Are you going to the inauguration? Let me make myself clear. I don't celebrate rapists.
Boom.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm not going to the inauguration tomorrow.
So,
listen,
you know, I kind of see this a little differently. AOC, you talk about Obama had a bad season, right? AOC also had a bad season. Members of her team didn't make it out of primaries. They got popped. Then they got into elections.
Jamal Bowman, I think you're talking about.
And other members of her team got popped in election. The Green New Deal with the executive pen that is sitting in the hand of Donald Trump is getting gutted at this moment. Parts of it are getting...
Jamal Bowman got out due to AIPAC spending, I think, $25 million. It was a big number that AIPAC spent to get rid of. So there could be a part of her that is not happy. How much did they spend?
$14.5
million to beat Jamal Bowman, just so you guys know that. So she may be remembering this and is trying to find a way to get back to what they did to her guy. But go ahead, Tom.
I think that could very well be part of it. And then for leadership committees, zero. She finally ended up on one committee and she made a big deal about ending up, but she's been given the Bernie treatment by the core Democrat Party, starting with the primaries and coming through. She's really being given the Bernie treatment. And I want to know, what does she stand for? What is she going to, is she, you know, remembering and a little annoyed because of what happened with the, you know, with all the money that was put behind Bowman to get him out of there? Maybe so. But I think she's sort of like a woman without a position right now. It's like, what do you stand for? Your Green New Deal, that's not safe to stand on that. It's being that's melting beneath your feet, to, you know, pun fully intended. And I want to know what she stands for. Where are you going this year? What's your vision this year? What's your legislative, where do you want to go other than pop up on social media? And she knows how to play the social media. She used the word rapist to pull maximum response out of social media. But I'd like to know, AOC, what are you doing this year?
I mean, Tom,
where are you going?
Respectfully, we know what she's doing this year. There's no new tricks in the playbook. She's going to do the economic justice, a.k.a. socialism. She's going to do social justice, a.k.a. DEI. She's going to do universal health care, a.k.a. we'll pay for it all. She's going to do Green New Deal, a.k.a. we can't afford this climate change. She's going to do defund the police.
With no
She's going to do open borders.
She has no votes and no juice.
No, but
There's nothing behind it.
my point is, she's going to do the same playbook that works in her district in woke New York.
But hang on.
But not in Congress.
What Tom is saying to you is that doesn't work anymore. It's not working. That's the point Tom is making, if I'm understanding you correctly.
Exactly.
And so for me, she is at a point right now, and I'm just being, if I was her advisor, and I'm not, she's missing out on a very big opportunity by working backwards. She's just going to 6 years ago. Alexander, it didn't work. What are you doing? The sequencing of your next 5, 10, 15 moves, you're not making the right next 5, 10, 15 moves.
Yep.
And I think she would benefit from reading the book Power versus Force. I just don't think she's making the right move. I want to go to the next one.
Disagree, though.
I'm going to go to the next move. I'm going to go to the next topic here. You're saying respectfully disagree. Give your thoughts, and I'll go to the next
Well,
story.
it all depends on what's on her agenda. If she wants to be a senator, or if she wants to be a governor, or if she wants to ever become president, yeah, you're going to have to move to the middle. But you're saying that it didn't work. Well, it certainly worked because she won her district resoundingly. I think she won 2/3 to 1/3 in the vote. So if her goal is to be a leftist progressive congresswoman, you got this thing, girl. You stay in your district and you give free food and free health care and for everything and the Green New Deal. That'll work for you, baby girl, in your district. But if you ever have bigger aspirations, you need to move to the middle.
So that's not working because there's been rumors of her wanting to run for office.
And it won't work. That won't work.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So while you're talking about that, there's a couple things that I want to go to. Trump bans. Let me just go through a series of these fairly quickly. He bans Pride and BLM flags at U.S. buildings. Boom. That's number one. Number two, he takes the DEI concept, obliterates the DEI with scathing order, placing thousands to leave without any hesitation. Okay. And there's a clip on this, Rob, if you got it, on the DEI.
Yeah, this is just the clip from the inauguration, if you wanted it, where he promises to remove DEI.
It's okay. So Trump issues a sweeping executive order dismantling diversity, equity programs and federal programs, mandating all DEI employees to place on paid leave by 5 p.m. Wednesday and ordering the closure of DEI office. The administration described DEI programs as dangerous, demeaning, and immoral race and sex-based preferences and undermine our national unity. Trump's order stated hardworking Americans should not be stigmatized, demeaned, or shut out of opportunities because of their race or sex. executive order reverse a DEI-focused directive enacted by Joe Biden on his first day in office, which Trump criticized for embedding radical practices with every agency. The order also required agencies to report efforts to disguise DEI initiatives with coded or imprecise language, and warned employees failing to report such actions of adverse consequence. Trump argued these programs created a coercive, identity-based spoils the system. It was one after another. He announced purge of over 1,000 Biden appointees. You're fired. Then hiring blitz on day one, hiring record-breaking 1,300 staff on day one. This is all Trump doing it. He's only been in office for, by the way, Trump's already negotiated and done more in his first 24, 48 hours than Biden did in 4 years. Think about it. He's already negotiated on behalf of his voters more in the first 48, 72 hours than Biden did in the first 4 years of being in office. When you see this stuff right now, Tom, how do you process all this information with what he's doing with DEI, firing, hiring? How do you process it?
Well, DEI is being respelled DIE, and it is dying in corporate boardrooms. It is dying in admissions of colleges. It is dying when, while Biden was president, the Department of Justice actually went after Yale admissions, right? And you know what's going on there. And by the way, and God bless the Asian parents that took up the mantle, because if it was white parents, that DOJ never would have done that. And so I think what you're seeing here is an unwinding of what was a bad idea. It was discriminatory. It was expensive. It was punitive. It was not American, where everyone has opportunity. And it's getting unwound. And God bless President Trump. He's now unwinding it from the top. But the ice was melting and it was unwinding. And so many companies that are saying, you know what, this didn't work. You're not going to see a rainbow on our logo, but we will have gay people work here. We will have straight people work here. We will have people of all backgrounds. We are an equal opportunity employer, and we will defend everyone's right to work here. But you know what? The programs that do these things artificially, we're done. We're done with that. And guess what? Now it's coming to the pen of the president, because where was it dying? It was dying with voters speaking out against companies. It was dying when voters were pushing it on college campuses to get things pulled back. And then he said, I hear you. It's a campaign promise. And he walked in the door and said, where's my pen?
And by the way, while this is going on, Rob, can you pull up the clip? Because common sense is making a comeback worldwide. And in Canada, Pierre, who was running against Justin, he is being interviewed. Not this one, Rob. Pierre is being asked how many genders there are.
That's so good.
And the way he answers the question, if you just go on Twitter and type in Pierre genders, it'll come up. There you go. And any one of these, just play this clip. This is so interesting how he answers it. And the guy on the other side, he has no clue what to say. He's confused. Watch this, folks.
He flips it on her.
Stay on the job. President Trump signed an executive order, the U.S. government only recognizing two genders, male, female. They're unchangeable. If elected as prime minister, is that something that you're going to kind of walk in line with, or what are your feelings on that executive order?
Well, I don't know. Do you have any other genders that you'd like to name?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I'm just asking more so if you're in line with what he is saying. Do you agree with what he's saying? Is that something that you would be lockstep with if elected as prime minister?
Well, I'm not aware of any other genders than men and women. I mean, if you have any other that you want me to consider, you're welcome to tell me right now.
Well, there's personally, I am a man. I am a people say cis man. There are people there who, they say they're gender neutral. Well, you are a man. Yes. There are people there who say they're gender neutral. Yeah. They say they're gender neutral. They're a trans person. Is that something that you would recognize here? Whereas in the States, at least with their U.S. government, the way they're seeing it, there's only two.
He's just trying to do his job.
But he deserves every single part of this.
I'm only aware of two, but I mean, if you come up with another list, then you're welcome to do that, but I'm aware of two. And as far as I'm concerned, we should have a government that just minds its own damn business and leaves people alone.
There you go.
Boom. That guy, that interviewer, deserves every single second of that weird, awkward moment. of Pierre Poilievre, instead of saying, oh yeah, here's my thoughts. Oh no, I only know 2. What do you know? And he's like, giggity. One time but here's a guy, and here's my speculation. I think that guy's just a dude. He's just a dude that wants to become a journalist. He's probably married, has kids. Who knows what his story is? But now he has to identify as a cis man. Someone said, hey, are you a man or you a dude or you a cis man? Have you ever heard this terminology ever before in my life? I'm in an Uber driver the other day, and this guy's a dude. I'm talking a man's man. And you see on the car, he goes by he, him. I go, hey, man, let me ask you something. I'm like, do you get offended easily? He's like, nah, bro, what's up? I go, I noticed that on your Uber profile, you're a he, him. He's like, yeah, man, look, when you set up the profile, they just kind of make you put that in there. I didn't know. I just put it in there. I was like, so in any other elements of your life, do you identify as he, him? He's like, honestly, bro, like, I don't even know what the hell that is, dog. But like, I guess I'm a he, him. I'm a cis man. So like, it's those guys who are like, bro, I'm just trying to do my freaking job. But now Uber or whoever it is, Lyft, whatever it is, journalists, yeah, but I'm a cis man. I'm a he, him. The beautiful thing is now that Trump is here and Justin Trudeau is out and this progressive, woke, LGBTQ inclusive equity over equality agenda is basically being thrusted out the door. All the he, him nonsense, the they, them nonsense is out the window.
Tom.
U.S. passports, by the way, I believe are the new ones that are being issued will not have the X because you could have male, female, or X, meaning something else for gender. Sorry, it goes back to male, female. And I believe there is a time limit on the reissuing of your passport. But under Trump, the passports, new passports ain't going to say X.
Can I say one thing? Because the initial question that you said was something about there's no more LGBTQ flags, BLM flags being flown. Where was that story?
Not next to the American flag.
Where was that story, Pat, if you don't mind?
Yeah, this is a story of Daily Mail.
Okay.
Talking about the fact that, where's the BLM? There it is. So President Trump issued a State Department order banning Pride and Black Lives Matter flags that are being displayed at U.S. facilities worldwide, stating starting immediately, only the U.S. flag is authorized to be flown over U.S. facilities, both domestic and abroad. The flag of the United States of America, United States of Americans under the universal principles of justice, liberty, and democracy. The directive issued by new Secretary of State Marco Rubio allows exceptions for prisoners of war, missing in action flag, and wrongful detainees flag. Flag like Pride and BLM banners have been points of contention for Republicans with prior attempts, such as 2021 Old Glory, Old Act. Failing to pass, Biden administration previously agreed to similar restrictions in spending bill compromise, but vowed to repeal it.
I love this. Are you freaking kidding me? You know, he said common sense will prevail. Common sense will win today. Shout out for Donald Trump for just doing the most common sense thing ever, saying, hey, governments, government buildings, government offices, one flag. Is it the BLM, sir? No. How about the LGBT pride flag? No. Which flag is it? American flag, buddy. The flag of the USA. Oh my God, that's crazy. Why? We're in America. One flag. Now listen, if you as a business owner or a homeowner want to put up a LGBTQ pride flag, have at it. That's your business. Go ahead. If you want to put up a BLM flag in your home, on your lawn, at your business, do it. But in the government? Remember when the Barack Obama had the White House basically cascaded as the pride flag? And it was like the happiest day ever. Bro, if you're a private citizen and you have your own building, if you have your own office, do whatever you want. The government, USA, one flag. By the way, one of the most weirdest moments of my life was I was in Israel in July of 2023, a couple months before October 7th. There's the White House right there. And I was actually a little annoyed because I saw more pride flags in Israel than I did Israel flags, Star of David's. And I was like, what is going on here? This is in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
Tel Aviv is a very woke city, but now the Israel flag is flying a lot higher.
Just FYI, Mike Pompeo's Secret Service detail was just revoked as well. And we all know what Mike Pompeo, he's the one that said he blocked the release of the JFK files, and he was accused of playing a key role in plotting to assassinate Julian Assange. So that's one.
Trump revoked security detail for Pompeo and others despite threats from Iran. The official had been part of an aggressive posture against Iran during President Trump's first term. Okay.
And Brian Hook as well. And just real fast, Pat, I think it's embarrassing as a country that the president has to come up and go, we have men and women, and that's it. That should show you how far this left agenda is, and I'm so happy that we're back and no more of this nonsense bullshit.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Let's go to the next one. Jamie Dimon defends Trump's tariff. National security trumps a little bit more than inflation. If you have the clip, Rob, go for it.
In terms of advice for the new president, he is inheriting a pretty good economy, despite what people feel, all these metrics that you see. But what about advice to him on some of the policies that he's threatening to do that could hurt the economy? For instance, tariffs. Have you talked to him about tariffs? If you could talk to him right now, what would you say?
I have not spoken about tariffs. I think you should read the art of the deal. You know, he's a negotiator. He lays out some very tough things, and sometimes it works. We have to worry more about national security, resiliency, diversified supply chains, and we didn't. And also we should have worried more about who it hurt. So while trade's got some enormous benefits, it does hurt that town where the plant closed. We had a thing called trade adjustment assistance, which was supposed to give people retrain, relocation, income assistance if they were hurt by trade. It never quite worked. And so we need to focus on some of those issues. And to me, tariffs are a way, are a tool, properly used, that can help get some of those issues resolved. Unfair competition, national security issues. If like any tool, if it's misused, it can do damage too.
But your point is that you think it is a legitimate negotiating tool.
Absolutely. Every country is allowed to make its own unilateral actions. If you look at what China's been doing for years, they do this already. They've been doing
threaten and...
No, they put up their own tariffs, their own rules, their own rules, their own regulations. They make a lot of unilateral actions that they think are in their own best interest. So it's not bad for our government to do that. That tool may be a useful tool, properly used.
You can stop it. This is the same lady that when Trump said, wait a minute, you know what's in that laptop? Oh, stop it. You can't say that. You see, you can't say that here. This is 60 Minutes, sir. Yeah. This is 60 Minutes, sir. You can't say that. You can't say it. Do you remember that clip?
Yeah, she's the
Rob,
worst.
if you can find that clip with what she said, and I love the fact that he said, until you apologize, I'm not coming back to 60 Minutes. I love the fact that that's taken place. However, Jamie Dimon just gave a very basic breakdown of how tariffs work to protect your country. And it made sense because it's all about leverage. Good for you, Jamie Dimon. And Jamie Dimon probably also just sold 5,000 copies of his book, Art of the Deal, when he said you should read Art of the Deal. Tom, your thoughts on what he says here?
I think you summed it up very, very well, and I'll add a couple things. This is how the media spins it. Tariffs, which hurt the economy, unlike tariffs, which hurts the economy, she is sort of testifying into the question with this assumptive tone. Tariffs, which hurt the economy. No, Jamie Dimon said, it's TTT. Tariffs, tactics, taxes. Tariff is a tactic, not a tax. Most of the time, tariffs or tactics, because they get the other side's attention more so than just ambassadors shaking hands and asking, and then I can't really do this because the truck lobby over here I got to deal with. Well, yeah, I got to deal with longshoremen and everything. And then the president says, "Screw all of you. I'm going to put a tariff in if we can't get this fixed." And it's like, wait a minute, what? And you believe it, and it's a tactic, and it is the art of the deal, and it's not a bluff. The thing is, if you think it's a bluff, you're not paying attention, because these are not going to be garden variety tariffs. They're going to be specific tariffs that can be quickly implemented that will lever the other side. So I saw 2 points here. Jamie Dimon was giving a history lesson, a civics lesson, an economy lesson, and a foreign policy lesson to a reporter who just wants to insert the twist in it. And you know what? He did it in a very elegant way. I love the way he did it. And we're going to watch, and we're all going to get a lesson here. And the lesson we're going to get is how America's position is enhanced and secured. And his comment was, look, I'll take national security with a tiny bit of inflation on pricing for tariffs, because security is pretty important. Because what does he want? What do all the banks want? A stable playing field. Banks don't want a level playing field, but they sure as hell want a stable playing field. And that's part of the undertone of what Jamie Dimon wants.
Mom, by the way, this is her with Trump many, many years ago. Go for it, Rob.
You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie.
You know what you told me a long time ago when I asked why you keep saying fake in the media?
Yeah.
You said to me, I say that because I need to discredit you so that when you say negative things about me, no one will believe
I don't have to discredit you.
But that's what you told me.
You've discredited yourself.
You told me that.
Leslie, you've discredited yourself. When you say that you're not going to cover Biden, you're going to ask him what flavor ice cream he has, okay?
That's not
Instead
me.
of why did Hunter get $3.5 million from Moscow? Instead of why is an energy company paying your son $183,000 a month or whatever they're paying him, and he has no experience in energy. You know, you discredit yourself. I don't have to discredit you.
So this story about Hunter and his laptop, some repair shop found it. The source is Steve Bannon and Rudy Giuliani.
I don't know anything about that. I just know it's a laptop, and they haven't.
And you're making this one of the hottest, most important issues in your rallies.
It's a very important issue to find out whether or not a man's corrupt who's running for president, who's accepted money from China and from Ukraine and from Russia.
All these
I think
things
that's
have
an
been
important
investigated. And
Listen to this. You just lost credibility right there.
Try and say this and sit there and look me in the eye and say.
You can pause it right there. So this is the part where you see her face. You know what kind of a look she has when she's interviewing Jamie Dimon? She has the look of she just got her tail handed to her, and she doesn't know how to handle it because all the credibility they had is gone.
Yes, sir.
Is gone.
Yep.
And now she's sitting there, and Jamie's defending Trump.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait a minute, what are you saying about all this stuff? Adam, 30-second thoughts, and I'm going to the next
So
story.
look, get ready for more conversations that look exactly like this, whether it's Leslie Stoll, 60 Minutes, leftist journalists, basically getting raked over the coals by business leaders and political leaders. Just today, we saw Jim Acosta get disowned by the conservative politician right there. We all remember about a year ago, Elon Musk being interviewed by that journalist. What would you say about Twitter becoming more racist? Show me. Where do you see that? Oh, well, I don't really know anything about that. So Don Lemon, he's been demoted to man on the street interviews and being owned by fellow black men being like, you don't know what you're talking about, bro.
The word was fired. Demoted, he was fired.
More of these conversations are going to start to happen, and more of these leftist journalists are going to basically have a reckoning and be like, oh my God, everything that I thought, everything I believed, I'm being informed in real time. So does anybody in the country have more credibility than Jamie Dimon? And Trump winning is doing this one thing. It's giving all these business leaders and political leaders and basically people running companies cover to do the right thing, dismantling DEI, whether it's Zuck, whether it's Sundar Pichai with Google, Tim Cook, they're all going to have the ability to focus on merit over diversity.
If you can pull up that clip by Justin Trudeau on what he's saying, because Trump's come out and said he's considering putting a 10% tariff on China beginning February 1st. And, you know, Justin, who's a terrible negotiator, is sitting there saying, oh my God, what am I going to do about this? So he tries to react and respond to kind of act tough. It just doesn't work for him. So watch Justin here trying to defend his nation. Go ahead.
Of course, if the president does choose to proceed with tariffs on Canada, Canada will respond.
Oh my God.
And everything is on the table.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God! Oh, you're gonna attack us, Justine?
Wow. Oh,
like, what are you gonna do?
Shoot.
Like, honestly, how scared and shaking in his boots is Trump after that alpha male? Like, that guy screams toughness. I'm scared for Trump because that's a threat.
You're a lame duck.
This
Have a
goes
little
back
respect,
to that
bro.
story. This goes back to that story when Trump is sitting with him at Mar-a-Lago saying, hey, I think Ben Shapiro told the story. Hey, if we were what's the worst thing that can happen to Canada? And he says, the worst thing you can do is give us tariffs. He says, hey, let me just give you a tip. Don't ever tell somebody that's negotiating with you what's the worst thing he can do to you. And that's exactly what he did to you. This, by the way, if Trump ever writes the book Art of the Deal 2.0, post his last term, that book will sell 100 million copies.
Easy.
Because if he breaks down all the deals he did while he's a president, who wouldn't want to buy that book to see how all these deals happen? Look at this picture right here. You know what look Trump's got?
I got you.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So again, all these guys that are coming out, this is just not the way to negotiate with Trump. You could have done it in a complete different way. This is the wrong way of doing it.
I think he's beyond the art of the deal. I think it's more like bitch slaps should be his next book. A chapter for everybody.
The book, Tale of Two Cities, it was the best of times, the worst of times. Could these two men be going in any more opposite directions? Trump is, for the first time in his political career, above water on approval ratings.
53.
This guy, Justin Trudeau, assumed office in the 60s. This guy's lucky if he's not in single digits approval at this point. Hovering in the 20s, I want to say. Horrible. Horrible. In one of the more liberal countries in the world, Canada, Justin Trudeau. I mean, this guy exits stage left, and he's just like a male feminist who's just ruining his entire career and image. And c'est la vie, Justin.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, we'll see what will take place here with this guy. Mayor Eric Adams accuses Democrats of abandoning him, working class people, in preview of Biden interview with Tucker Carlson. And by the way, Rob, if you have this clip to show, is this the clip? Go ahead and play this clip. Go ahead and play this clip.
You don't sound like a Democrat, and you seem to have left the party. No, the party left me, and it left working class people.
You complained about allowing hundreds of thousands of illegals, and this indictment was punishment for complaining.
That is clearly my belief.
I'll just admit it.
Yes.
I thought it was pretty funny when they started trucking illegals here because it's a sanctuary city. Basically committed an act of insurrection against the federal government by ignoring federal law.
You can pause it right there and watch this. While this is taking place, they're talking about New York. Do you have the clip of what they're doing right now in New York, Rob?
I can find one.
Do you have the clip of the fact that they're already bussing some folks out? And even a clip that Vinny just sent you. Yeah, this is the one here. Watch this. And where is this, by the way, Rob? Is this in New York? I just want to make sure we know where this is because...
Boston.
Okay, we'll play this and then we'll go to the New York one. Go ahead, Rob.
One of those threats is this...
Go back to the beginning. Oh, yeah.
I'm not going back to Haiti. One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
Yep.
ICE Boston quickly takes down its next targets, including this illegal alien from Brazil who has an Interpol red notice for armed robbery. This Salvadoran illegal alien charged locally with rape and released by a sanctuary jurisdiction.
Señor, ¿cómo se llama?
And this Dominican illegal alien charged with assault with a deadly weapon.
Biden could have done this for 4 years, never did it.
I love that you just said that.
Officers also arrested this Guatemalan MS-13 gang member facing gun charges. ICE says he was released from local custody just the day before. Their detainer request was ignored because of sanctuary policies.
Do you realize what that means?
And in a sign of shifting priorities with the new Trump administration, this man, who was in the same apartment as the target, was also arrested after ICE determined he's also in the U.S. illegally.
Vinny,
this
let me ask
is
you a
what
question,
ICE
Vinny.
calls collateral.
Go ahead, Robbie.
So you guys got your...
Vinny, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine you're an American citizen, full-on American citizen. You're legal, and you commit a crime.
I'm done.
Murder.
I'm done.
Robbery.
Gun charges.
Do you just get to chill in your house?
No, it's a
No,
wrap.
they're going to come after you.
Yeah.
So let's say you're an illegal immigrant.
You're Gucci.
Why do you get special treatment?
Why?
Please explain why these people who shouldn't be arrested, criminals. Please explain.
Well, yeah. It's unexplainable. And think about this. Look at how fast. This is day 3. They know exactly where they are. They know where they live. They know where they're at. The other guy was stopped at a supermarket. The fact that the Biden administration and Alejandro Mayorkas and all those freaking, I'm going to get into name calling, but they knew it and they leave them out because they don't care because that's the plan. Because they don't give a shit. They want to destroy the country.
In your opinion, of course.
In my opinion, well, no, they're trying to destroy the country. When you let in illegals and people that are rapists and murderers and they have gun charges and kidnapping and they're just here, and Pat said it great. Biden could have done that on day 1. But no, that's against the plan. It's a wide open border to destroy the country. And I love seeing this shit.
And let me read this. Mass migrant deportations coming to New York City. As soon as Trump border crackdown gets underway. Rob, do you have that clip? Because it says yellow on here. So Representative Nicole representing Staten Island and Brooklyn, warned in New York City is key target in President Trump's mass deportation crackdown following Chicago. Is this the clip, Rob?
Yes.
Go ahead and play this clip. She's like telling people, be careful. They're coming to get you. If you're a rapist and you were protected by sanctuary city, Trump's people are going to come and put you in jail and send you back home. Go ahead, Rob, if this is the clip that I think it is.
Who specifically will be targeted and when?
Yeah. Well, it should really be beginning this week. Tom Homan made it very clear that they are focused on the dangerous criminals. He wants to rid our cities and our country of people who are members of the drug cartels, sex traffickers, gang members, criminals who have been wreaking havoc in cities like mine. We've seen thousands of arrests in New York City alone of individuals that were let in by the Biden administration. And so those individuals are the ones that they're focused on and will target. New York City sanctuary law does prohibit cooperation, which makes it difficult, and it puts those law enforcement agents at great risk. But the city law does allow for them to cooperate when it comes to violent offenders and sex offenders. And Mayor Adams has indicated that he will do that. And that's very important because it'll protect the public, it'll protect our police officers, and certainly those ICE agents who have to go in there and find these individuals if the city does not.
You can pause it right there. I thought this was the other clip because there was one clip on, it was either MSNBC or CNN, if you can find it, where she's like saying it, look what they're doing. They're deporting, they're, kind of like giving emotional, sentimental of what they're doing there. Tom, think about families who have kids that go to school, who have daughters who work late night. Think about families. How excited are they that this is happening right now, Tom?
People are very excited. What you just heard there, Representative Nicole Maliotakis, she's talking about Staten Island that wasn't safe. She was talking exactly about this. People are happy. They're happy these people are coming off the street. If you take a look in Chicago, and by the way, did you notice that Chicago stopped broadcasting some of their CNET type coverage of city council hearings? They stopped. Why did they stop? Because Chicago told the liberal media, stop covering the people coming in here. You know why? Because the people were speaking up, and the people were saying they're turning the gym into a Motel 6.
Sanctuary City gym.
That's exactly right. And they're doing all this, and the people were speaking out, and the people that were speaking at those city council meetings, they were the wrong color. They were African Americans, Hispanics, proud U.S. citizens that want safe streets, safe schools, and city services just like anybody else does. And they are all now saying, when you make a sanctuary city, the people you hurt the most are the people that live at the core of those cities. And let's face it, all the boroughs everything in New York is downtown. All the boroughs, you're in a megapolis there. And in Staten Island, families are happy. Families are celebrating because this is what they have been living with, and the media wouldn't cover it. Good citizens, and that's why they were showing up at city council meetings and screaming and saying, you did this. And then the media took it off, and they said, we can't have that on the air because the wrong ethnicity people are yelling at the government. Wait a minute. You don't own those voters. You don't own those voters. And I'm using the word own carefully here. It says they're not entitled to you. They want to speak up for safety and everything that people want. That's what they're talking about. People are in these cities and in Staten Island are happy and they're tired of it.
Adam.
Look, man, you guys said it best, and I think I just agree with everything you said. It's just common sense is taken back over, and we're just done with the nonsense. That's it.
But you know what bothers me, though? If, let's say, God forbid, in 4 years, he's kicking ass and he's doing all this, a Democrat wins, they just flip everything back open, they open the border again, and we're back to the same crap. What's to stop it?
Rob, is this the clip about the debate?
This is more of Scott Jennings, but she starts off, Maria Cardona starts off with how the ICE and Trump administration is going to be brutally deporting people.
Great, play it. This is the one I think.
Brutally.
And on inflicting as much pain as possible in communities across the country.
Donald Trump has said we're going to have a legal immigration system. And that's really the issue here is it going to be legal immigration where we know who people are, where they're coming from, why they're coming here? Are they of a benefit to our country? Are we going to continue to have the chaos of the last several years where millions upon millions upon millions of people just flow across the border? And I heard Maria say this is about inflicting pain, and I strongly disagree with that. I think a lot of pain has already been inflicted on our country. I'm sure Laken Riley's family would say they're in enormous anguish still to this day because of what happened to their daughter when she was violently murdered by an illegal immigrant. There's pain felt in cities all over America. Talk to any local official. They're trying to deal with these illegal immigrant populations in New York and Chicago and many other cities. There's a lot of pain that's already been inflicted. The point is this: we have to have a legal immigration system, and it has to benefit the United States. The current system is of no benefit to the United States in the way that it has been administered over the last 4 years. And one final political point: the American people voted for Donald Trump to get this chaos under control. And the New York Times polling this weekend, it was not controversial. People want deportations of people who are here, especially if they are violent criminals.
Which is why I believe at the end of the day, the cruelty and the pain and the division is what Trump is after, because that is what his base wants. And
Maria, that's not true. I voted for Donald Trump, and I don't want cruelty and division. I want law and order, and I want an immigration system that works for the United States.
And
Donald Trump is Donald Trump is not interested in deporting people who are here legally. People who have followed all the rules. They're interested in primarily, right out of the gate, two populations: violent criminals and people who have existing adjudicated deportation orders. That's millions of people. And I refuse to accept the farcical argument that the U.S. economy is underpinned by rapists, murderers, and people who are awaiting deportation. It's just not true.
It's the emotional responses with no data is the funniest thing to me. I don't know what chat it was in. I don't know if you can find it real quickly, but did you see that speech that Barack Obama gave 10 plus years ago about how immigration should work? Do you have this by any chance?
I'll take a look.
Okay. And he basically says, listen, we like immigration, but sorry, if you're going to come to the country, there it is right there. The English thing, you just had it right there. No free ride. Watch this. Tell me this isn't a conservative conversation. Right there. Boom.
This is not going to be a free ride. It's not going to be some instant amnesty. What's going to happen is you are going to pay a significant fine. You are going to learn English. You are going to go to the back of the line so that you don't get ahead of somebody who was in Mexico City applying legally. It's not something that is guaranteed or automatic. You've got to earn it. I think the American people, they appreciate and believe in immigration. But they can't have a situation where you just have 500,000 people pouring over the border without any kind of mechanism to control it. So we've got to deal with that at the same time as we deal in a humane fashion with folks who have put down roots here, have become our neighbors, have become our friends. They may have children who are U.S. citizens. That's the kind of comprehensive approach that we have to take.
So Joe Biden didn't hear any of that.
Can you imagine the current Democratic Party, anyone giving a speech like this? By the way, this sounds like a campaign speech, so maybe this is 2008, maybe it's 2012. What was Obama's nickname when it came to immigration, guys?
Deporter-in-chief.
Okay, so that's before he became president. He was running for president. What was his nickname again?
Deporter-in-chief.
One more time, Vinny.
Deporter-in-chief.
So the deporter-in-chief, Barack Obama, was the guy basically saying, no, this doesn't work. Could you imagine Kamala Harris giving a speech like that? What was Kamala Harris' unofficial
border
job?
czar.
The border czar. So we all seen football games when the defensive line is just sacking the quarterback and the offensive line is like, I don't know how, because they're not protecting the quarterback. The offensive line in America has been a disaster under Joe Biden. If you just go back 15 years, Obama had a template for how you should do immigration in America, and the Democrats completely dropped the ball.
And by the way, just so you know, he gave this speech after he was president, not before.
Weird.
So this is, I think, March of 2009. If you can look at it, Rob, it was March of 2009 when he gave this speech. So meaning the point is he's already won. He's not trying to give a speech to win votes. This was March 18th, 2009 at a town hall. The full video can be found on White House YouTube page. It's a 39-minute mark to get to it. Yeah. So
what was the date one more time, Pat?
March 18th, 2009.
So he became president January 20th, 2000. So this is 2 months into his presidency.
Yep.
Talking about how he's going to do immigration. And by the way, he did it. I would love to know his thoughts, sort of reenacting to this speech. Very compelling.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously, it's very timely to see what he's saying back then and what it is today. Barack Obama, somebody should retweet that and say, this conservative previous president, sounds,
right.
Republican, Barack Obama, he doesn't sound like
It's
a
kind
Democrat.
of like when Don Lemon gave that speech, like, read a book,
That's
pull
right,
up your pants.
That's right.
It's like, where is he now?
Look, let's do one last story here and we'll wrap up, folks. This story here, inside $300 million, members-only luxury doomsday, bunker with AI-powered medical suites and indoor pools where the 1% can seek shelter from apocalypse. Can you please show the pictures, Rob? Okay, this is a $300 million facility. Look at the spa. Okay, so there's a nuclear war going on outside, World War III.
You're comfortable.
You're there getting a massage, and maybe you feel a little bit of a shake. And you're like, was that the masseuse?
No,
or was that the nuclear bomb? Go a little bit lower, Rob. You're just going and getting your
Medical.
treatment. You're doing your physical, your check. You're good. Keep going lower. You know, you're here just kind of, you know.
Dr. Fauci's there with you.
Zooming out. What is this one here? There's no stranger to a lavish shelter space, having previously created this. Okay, so you're just laying down, maybe getting a massage, or you're hearing some good music. Keep going lower. What is that? That's another health facility. MRI you're doing, which is always a great experience.
Because you just ran away from a nuke that probably got some radioactive.
Keep going lower. Keep going lower. Look at this. The spa. You're chilling.
Ice Age.
Keep going lower. $300 million, right, for this. You know, you're sitting there having a drink, maybe watching a movie. I don't know, World War Z or End of Days.
Yeah. It's got to be an old movie. There's no new movies.
Leave the world
Hollywood's
behind.
been
Leave the world behind. The
Keep
Obama's
going lower.
movie.
Keep going lower. Keep going lower. So while this is going on, look at that facility. That's the facility that they're building. $300 million facility. Keep going lower. So now the membership for something like this, keep going lower, Rob, for some more pictures. It is a whopping $20 million to be a member. And by the way, today's sponsor of the podcast is this. Can you imagine?
So
like, how, you know, what is this? That was a joke, by the way. But 20, go all the way to the top to read what the membership is. It says $20 million right there. Due to open in summer of 2026, which means maybe something's going on in the winter of 2026.
Just in time for the midterm wars.
The high-end underground fortress will provide a 5-star survivalist experience to those lucky few who are willing to fork out $20 million for a single membership, of which there are 625 available. The bunker, which has been named Airy, will be part of a network of similar sanctuaries that cater to the 1%, providing them with a unique opportunity to safeguard their futures no matter what disaster lies ahead. So let's do the math. What's 625? What's 625 times $20 million? So let's see this. 625 times $20 million.
God, I'm shocked you don't just know that like Rain Man style.
It is $12.5 billion for the membership. So they spent $300 million, okay? The membership will get you $12.5 billion. So that's a 40x return on the investment. It's actually a brilliant idea, Tom. Your thoughts? Any interest in something like this, Tom, for you?
Well, I'm actually starting one, and mine will only be $10 million. I'm actually not going to build it, because when the nuclear bomb goes off and then people go looking for the bunker and then they're looking for me, there's no cell phone coverage. We've all been killed, so no one can. So there's no refunds.
Was that supposed to be like a joke? Like,
no, it isn't. It is a joke. The point is, I don't get how you put all this money up, and what if these guys are frauds? And at the moment you need it, everyone's dead.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the name. If you're an Assyrian, why would they name it? Was the guy trying to be funny? Rob, can you go back to the name?
Is Eri? Is that
Eri? It's called Eri. I can't believe. Look at how they spelled that.
Is that a bad?
That's a bad word in Assyrian.
Did you bleep that or no?
Gabriel's probably listening to this. Gabriel's even move it on Eri. I can't. Machleta. I'm sorry.
Machleta.
I can't believe they would name it Eri. I know.
It's like a big property.
What does it mean in Assyrian?
Bless you,
Eri
guys.
means
Bless you.
Like fragrant sphincter or something?
Yeah.
No. It's embarrassing.
There's
It's embarrassing.
Tom.
Watch
There's
your
Tom
language,
again.
but-
It's embarrassing, Tom.
What I find to be most interesting is how many people even have this type of money, how many people have this perspective, how many people even qualify this. But there's always a different thing. I'm going to backdoor this thing.
Backdoor it, Adam.
It's date night.
There you go.
Go ahead.
There's got to always be somebody to clean up the mess, to make the beds, to serve the drinks, to take out the garbage. Who's that guy? So all the illegal immigrants that are looking for a job, this is where you go. Excuse me, sir, time to clean the room. I got you. So this is actually a great job. I would apply there in a second.
Okay, there you have it. So, interesting. And by the way, Rob, this clip you're showing, is this him just giving a speech right now at World Economic Forum?
Yeah.
Really? All right, let's play this clip, because apparently Trump, again, gets up in front of people and talks shit to their faces, which is a beautiful thing to do. Go ahead, Rob.
Foreign aid freeze, and I created the new Department of Government Efficiency. I terminated the ridiculous and incredibly wasteful Green New Deal. I call it the Green New Scam. Withdrew from the one-sided Paris Climate Accord and ended the insane and costly electric vehicle mandate. We're going to let people buy the car they want to buy. I declared a national energy emergency, and that's so important, national energy emergency to unlock the liquid gold under our feet and pave the way for rapid approvals of new energy infrastructure. The United States has the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we're going to use it. Not only will this reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services, it'll make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto. Foreign aid freeze.
Thoughts, Tom?
I think he's over in Davos telling the world how it's going to be. And that this is the you want to do business with America? America's open for business. And here you are.
This is in Davos?
Yeah, he's in Davos.
This was live. This is live, him giving a speech in Davos. So he is basically repeating what he said in his inauguration on a world stage. But he's also saying America's open for business, but this is the way you're going to do business with America. And you know what he's also telling Europe? I've got you covered for energy this winter. I don't think people understand the peril and the amount of inflation and the cost of energy in Europe. Now he's saying we're going to be the energy power, and you in Europe, you're our friends, and we will export to you, and we will take care of you. There's part of this going on too.
I don't think it can be understated the different first few days of the Trump administration 2.0 versus 1.0. Do you remember the first few days of his first time being elected? The whole conversation was who had a bigger crowd size at the inauguration, Obama or Trump. Now this time he's like, I don't care about crowd size. We're moving everything inside. We're going to get down to business. Russia, collusion, what's going on? Sexual this, sexual that. He's like, Department of Government Efficiency, AI, creating jobs, getting out of bad deals. Who? Gone. Paris Climate Agreement? Gone. Let's get down to business. They say that Trump has 4 years to get stuff done. I think he has 2 years. Because in 2 years, you start doing midterms, it's all over. This guy's go. Pat, what'd you say? He's done more in a week.
Look at that.
Than
he added a Doge clock.
Look
at the Doge clock. The Doge clock
in
is
4
sick,
years.
and that's legit. And then number two,
I love that.
Pat, did you guys see
this?
this?
The dead clock now has a Doge clock? Amazing.
You know those guys from Rebel News? Jack Fink is at Davos, and they ran up on him, and they're like asking him questions. Are you going to be cool with Trump? Are you going to be cool with Trump? Jack Fink takes out his phone and takes a photo of the guys that are running up on him.
Who's Jack Fink?
Larry Fink. My bad. Jack.
Larry Jack.
What? That's his brother.
Yo, Jack.
What up, Jack Fink, dog? Where my money at?
Yeah, Rob, I think one of them, go a little bit earlier, he takes his phone out and takes a photo of him. He goes, what are you throwing right here? He goes, what are you threatening me? Look, Larry Fink, look at him.
Which makes more money for you, war in Ukraine or peace in Ukraine?
He's taking a photo of the guy.
That's my name, Mr. Fink.
Dude, that's scary as
Did you just take a photo of you?
Am I supposed to be scared? Is that a threat, Mr. Fink?
Are you used to bullying your way through life?
Oh, this guy's a beast. I've seen him before. This journalist.
No.
Citizen journalist.
By the way, the fact that he took a photo of him, what does that mean? Why you take that guy should be scared.
Guys, I can't hear what he's saying. Oh my God. Sorry. Back up a little bit. I'm trying to hear. You guys are arguing. Sorry. Okay, go ahead, Rob.
I was being quiet.
No.
Is that how you've lived your entire life without having... Look at this.
When was the last time
push back, mate. Don't push me, bro. Don't push me.
When was the last time you answered a question that you didn't know was coming? Why are you so unaccountable? Isn't that what you love about the World Economic Forum? You control everything.
Why do you think you deserve so much power? Hey, Avi Yemeni, should I be scared now?
Which of your former directors do you want to run Canada?
Wow. You can
Mark Carney?
This is such a bad look.
Taking photos of
yeah, it's such a bad look on him.
On Larry Fink or Jack Fink?
Horrible. What are you doing taking a picture of the guy? Like, it's a form of a threat.
That is a form of a threat.
What are you trying to say? You're going to destroy my life? Like, what are you doing taking a picture of me? It's free press. You're American. Why are you taking a picture? You know, man, that's
if God forbid something happens to any of those two guys.
Watch what he does. He tries to touch.
I saw that.
He tries to push the guy off the sidewalk so that he can give the security a reason to take these guys out. Watch how he walks over and pushes him off that sidewalk. Look.
And his security prevented him from doing it.
Oh, wow. Dude,
I don't know, man. This is.
Do you remember when
Look, I hope I'm getting his...
Let me hear what Tom's going to say. Go ahead.
Pete Buttigieg was also cornered by folks, and he goes, who are you with? What's your name? Who are you with? And he starts taking pictures of them. And so you know what they do? They go back to their office, and they've got their own ways of dealing with this, and it's not a good look. It's really bad. I didn't like it when Mayor Pete did it. He did the same thing. He took pictures of guys, and it's like, what are they going to get? Are they going to get?
What are you going to do?
An IRS audit?
That's right. Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah.
No, that's not.
That's just Adam. 30 seconds. We got to wrap up.
Look, I'll just take 10 seconds. This guy has a YouTube channel. His name is Avi Yamini. I actually follow this guy. I think he's based out of Australia. I want to say.
Yeah, he's great.
And look, shout out to the citizen journalism holding the elite and the rich and powerful accountable. Shout out to you, Avi.
There you go, gang. Great having you on. Tomorrow, Paul Saladino will be going live on the podcast. We had a great conversation together. And again, for those of you guys that are business executives, you wear cufflinks. Get these because these may not come back, and there are limited supplies of the cufflinks with the Vitamin logo representing the future looks bright. God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye, bye-bye.